Or is this like his real life recording during the interview?
Guys, the audio is gonna be.
Oh, so this is like when he was. Oh, this was actually when he was doing the interview. This video is literally his recording of the interview. Okay, I thought it would just be he play and then he is reacting to his own. So he literally is playing the interview. Wait, is he stalling? Wait, is he stalling?
I mean, start off the interview instantly knowing how much they actually care about us as people and not just, you know.
That's what I want to know, right? These are WoW players that has been playing WoW for 15 years. They obviously love WoW, and I still believe they still do love WoW. And I still think that they hope that the game that they've been playing will get better, right? But they just come into this game, and then I mean, it's not like we don't know Yoshi-P is wholesome like that, right? They still they just get to know him, right? Very slowly, if you play more, you will start to see that Yoshi-P himself also have a lot of bullshit. But that's fine. That's not now, right? For now, they just coming into the game. They came from a developer that cubicle crawl, take advantage of women, make shit game, empty promises, don't listen to player feedback, and then to this like kind of like complete opposite, right? Like how do they feel about it, you know?
People who happen to be around the game, you know.
Yeah, it was good. It really was. But he's really cramped on time, and so I really appreciate you giving us this opportunity. And
you know, I'm not sure whether you guys recently watched Asmongold's alt channel, New World. A lot of people in his channel always been asking him, when are you going to go back to play WoW? When are you going to go back to play Final Fantasy? And then whenever he gets asked to compare New World to existing game, he actually now use Final Fantasy XIV as a reference. He now always say that, you know, there are good games out there that make good games like Final Fantasy XIV. I'm like, oh wow. He never even talk WoW about my, you know, one day I will go back to play WoW, but you know, I just want to quickly finish New World and then go back to play Final Fantasy XIV. You know, I think Final Fantasy XIV is a good game. And wow, this guy didn't want to fucking touch 14 3-4 months ago. You know, there was this 2-month City Hall debate on whether he should play Final Fantasy XIV before he even streamed Final Fantasy XIV. And then he's always like, I'm gonna play the whip game, I don't have time for that. You know, I want to do Mythic Raid in Sanctum, I want to get the gear, the glamour looks really nice, I want to form a group together, I want to get some viewers in, get some friendly, and then end up he just don't even give a shit about WoW anymore.
Taking out the time
like that 360 turn, you know?
いやもうそしてリッチさんはね、ダブルレジェンドおめでとうございます。
Oh, and Rich, congratulations.
Double
on,
Legend.
Dragon.
Double Legend.
Oh, Double Legend. Sorry, Double Legend.
Thank you. We're going for triple. We're going for triple. Too soon. Too soon.
次はアレキサンダーです。頑張ります。トリプル頑張ります。
2人ともすごい自由に14楽しんでもらってて嬉しいです。日本のプレイヤーもみんな2人のストリーミングね、2人だけのじゃないですけど、みんな見てるので、これからも楽しんでくれると嬉しいです。
But yeah, we're really happy that you guys are enjoying 14 so much and you have the freedom to kind of roam around and do what you do. And a lot of people in Japan, the players in Japan have kind of watched you guys stream as well. Sometimes just the two of you or like other streams as well. So yeah, I hope you continue to enjoy the game.
さて、今日はね、何を聞いていただいてもいいです。MMO の話をしようぜでもいいし、ゲームの話をしようぜでもいいし、プライベートなことでもいいです。 何でも思うことを質問していただけたらと思います。よろしくお願いします。
Does that still like is that weird to you? That people watch our streams in Japan?
I think that's awesome, man.
Yeah, but like it doesn't it feel like I don't know, like almost unbelievable.
They play WoW, right? They never had overseas audience, right?
Yeah,
and Final Fantasy
really
XIV is mainly Japan.
Awesome.
It's so wild, and like I don't know if I'm sure that you probably have like on Reddit, I've had a lot of people.
They are stalling already.
Posts and stuff like that.
Okay, while they are stalling, let me check on my key real quick.
From when I was in China for TI, and somebody walked up to me, and I assumed that they just wanted to talk about Dota, and they were literally like, all craft, and that was when I found out that like people were re-uploading all craft with Chinese subtitles in China even.
Oh my god, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's really fucking cool. So hearing this and hearing that people are watching in Japan like kind of blew me away.
Yeah, just I want to open up the floor to y'all's questions now. I mean, we can talk about anything we want. Like if you wanted to talk about MMOs, great, or just the video games in general, or something private, that's fine too.
Yeah, I think one of the places, so Asmon and I have a bunch of questions, obviously, that we want to ask, but I think one of the craziest things about starting to play Final Fantasy for both of us is just how different the communities felt. And we felt incredibly welcomed from everybody, obviously, over here with you guys, but also the community itself. We felt very welcomed. And we're curious if, with the giant surge of new players coming into the game, if you felt like it's changed the community at all, or how you felt it's impacted what already
Okay,
existed.
he's back and he's playing with the doggy.
そうですね、14を始めて、本当にクレイジーだなって思ったのが、そのコミュニティの反応の仕方の違いというか、14のコミュニティが非常にその我々を歓迎してくれて、非常に
Everybody's making fun of
Holy
me for all
fuck,
that. I
it's
don't
1
care. The reason that I
hour!
use y'all is because it's gender neutral.
温かいコミュニティだったのが
If I finish watching this plus he's stalling, it's gonna be 5!
すごい衝撃的でした。で、昨今、結構なプレイヤーが増えたかと思いますけれども、そのことによって、14のプレイヤーコミュニティが何かそれで影響を受けたであったり、何か変
Best
化が見られ
translator.
たとか
What I
思います
realized
か
is she's writing notes incredibly fast too.
やっぱりこう
That's the job of translator.
反応とかを見てると、その
She's-
やっぱり
she's
違
so
うゲー
good.
ムを長く遊んできた人たちっていうのがこう一気に流れてくると、当然それぞれのそのコミュニティで文法とかその大事にしてきたものってちょっと違うと思うんですよ。だからそれによっていい意味でその比較が、例えば向こうにこういうシステムがあったけどこっちにはないんだね、こっちにはあるけど向こうにはないんだねっていうのがこうポジティブに混ざっていく
Dude, the
今
hoodie is
タ
so
イミングなんじゃな
awesome.
いかなと思っていて、それによって両方がよりよく
It's
発展
Biggie
するきっか
Smalls,
け
yeah.
にこう、まあ、両方っていうか例えば今ニューワールドも出た
I
の
never
で
even realized.
その
Where's Asmongold in this?
You know, I didn't realize during the interview either
混ざることで
because it was like
あの
so nervous
Yeah.
about stuff.
全体がホットになるっていう今タイミングだと思ってるの
And
で
then
それ自体はす
Sweetgreen,
ごい
when she saw the
面白
interview,
いし、
she was like, I thought it was so funny that you put on a collared shirt and shaved, and then Yoshi-P just looked like way better than you wearing a chocobo hoodie.
ことだと思ってるんで、ニコニコしながら見てます。
So just looking at some of the posts in Reddit, I know some people have moved over from other games, and a surge of
Warcraft?
players came from like experiencing other games coming into Final Fantasy 14.
He
And
doesn't
so
want to say it.
naturally, we do see like a difference in the way they like communicate, some of the grammar that they use in their language, as well as some of the things that players cherish and feel
Ah,
is
that's good.
important.
That's good. Right.
differ,
Yeah, that's good.
And
That's a good
I've
one.
seen some
That's better.
comparisons being made. I mean, in a good way. Like, oh, I noticed there's
He really suit up just for the interview. And Asmongold is like, same shit, just another day. Oh my
a
god.
system like this on this game, but I never.
He really
saw it in
suit
the
up,
other game,
dude.
and
He
vice
even
versa. So
shaved.
I feel like there is a sort of positive sort of mixing of players, and I'm hoping that
Yeah, Asmongold is literally wearing the same shirt.
like both sides of the games, or like both games to get more hyped up and build more excitement just in general. I know New World was released very recently, and that's also kind of getting attention. And by having multiple MMOs and having
good, it's good.
communities kind of mingling with each other, mixing in with each other, will allow for just MMOs in general to get really hot again.
This is the difference between WoW and 14, isn't it? While Yoshi-P likes this, and it should be welcome, competition and stuff, Warcraft try to do it the other way around. Competition, bam, new patch. Competition, bam, new expansion. Competition, bam, just release something.
Hoping. So it's really interesting to see this. And, of course, there are small skirmishes here and there, confusion happening, but I feel like it is affecting the game positively, like overall. And so, like, yeah, I have a grin on my face for sure. I'm smiling throughout this.
Yeah, close enough.
We certainly have been
Yeah,
too.
just wait there, wait
It's
for my
been a
meal to
real
come back.
pleasure to try and play the game. And I wanted to ask also, how do you feel like because it hasn't just really been Final Fantasy it's been other games like you mentioned, New World, and then Ashes of Creation, and
Man, Asmongold English is so fucking good.
and, RuneScape, OSRS, World of Warcraft, and we're really starting to see, it seems like, a resurgence of MMOs in general. And do you think that it's going to be a situation where a rising tide floats all ships, and everybody just kind of all of the games grow and become better because of the competition against each other?
It should, yeah.
Or
I
do
think
you
it
feel
should.
like there's going to be a resurgence of MMOs in general? Because for the past, I mean, really, majority of the decade, it seems like MMOs haven't really been as popular as they used to be in the mid 2000s.
I just one more time want to point out the fact that she can manage to translate perfectly Asmon and I asking 30-minute questions every single time. I was watching her at one point.
Okay, this actually sheds a lot of information. I always thought this type of information is, I always thought this type of interview is scripted. I always thought, like for example, right, they will ask question in advance, and then this interview will take place, and or this is like a post question already asked interview. This is actually live, so they are actually really asking in real life, and then she's actually translating in real life and then relay back. I always thought this would be like vetted, you know, make sure, okay guys, just let us know what type of question you're gonna ask, and then we're gonna have this shit, just like live letter, right? You know what they do for live letter? You know, now they actually do live. So that means
questions too.
that means they should. I mean, that means people can really like just throw Yoshi-P random ball curve. You know.
Wait, do you at the end, you and me start having a full conversation asking a question, and she was flipping the pages while she was writing. It took her like 6 pages. I felt so bad, but it was like right when we ran out of time. You guys will see that in a little bit, but she's incredible, and I it's like one of those things where you just have to give credit where credit's due. This interview was just so good because of it.
確かにおっしゃる通り、我々も結構ニコニコしながらプレイをさせていただいていて、もちろん FF14 に限らず、
I mean, erase,
他の
yeah.
タイトル、先
I
ほど
think
ニュー
I
ワール
think
ド
that's why
おっしゃって
Koji
まし
is
たけれど
gone.
も、アッシェス・オブ・クリエーションであったり、クロウフォール、ルーン
Koji
ス
is
ケープ、
demoted.
OSRS、WoW もそうですけ
Koji
れ
is
ど
now
も、
Primal's
本当に
vocalist,
MMO
no
の
longer
そのリ
localization
バイバ
team.
ルじゃないですけれども、また新たな興味が湧いてきていると思います。なので、こういった MMO 作品がまたなんだろう、盛り上がっていくものだと思いますか？他のタイトルが競合することによって全体が良くなっていくのか、また再び
Yeah, this is a promotion, but yeah.
大量に入ってきそうな雰囲気
She
ですか？
improved so much.
おそらく
The
こ
very
の
first time she
昨
came
今
to,
10
the
年
very
近
first time
く
she do
MMO
translation,
とい
it
うジャ
was,
ンル
I don't want to
そ
say
のものが
awful.
結構
The
盛
very
り下
first
がっ
time
て
she
い
did
ったかと
translation for
思うの
Yoshi-P, I
で、
think it was like a live
これ
letter.
がきっかけ
She
に何か
wasn't
変化が
this
起こる
good.
と思いますか？
Like, I feel like during that time she doesn't know the game more,
どれだ
more
け
than
の
she
タイ
does
トル
now.
が
So
粘
whenever
り
she
強
like
く
translate
アッ
like
プデ
in
ー
game
ト
terms,
し
she
て
doesn't know what
みんなを
exactly it
楽
was.
しませようと
Like
し
she's so
で
much
きる
better
かどう
now
かっていうと
within
こ
these
ろ
1 or 2
が
years.
結構この先がポイントだと思ってますまず。
So first and foremost, I think it kind of depends on
Yes, yes,
whether
yes,
these
yes.
titles
Oh my
will be
God, I
able
need to close the door.
to like keep at and be tenacious about updating the game and making sure that the players continue to enjoy the content. And then he has more to say.
MMO のローンチはめちゃくちゃ面白いんですよ。バグも含めて、ログイン戦争って言われるログインできるできないも含めて、めちゃくちゃ盛り上がるんですよ。みんなわからない。
I mean, that's gonna happen. That's gonna happen in 6.0 as well.
本当にめちゃくちゃ面
For
白い。
sure.
でも、やっぱローンチを過ぎた後、どれだけそのテンションが維持してもらえるのかっていうところがとても重要なので、やっぱり今はそのいろんなタイトルのローンチが近いタイミングでこう来てるので。
He's so cool. Like, can we just say for 1 second, he is so cool. Like, it drives me nuts how cool he is,
す
dude.
ごく全体が盛り上がって見えると思うんだけど、本当の
I like how he
MMO
just like
が
knew
も
a
う一
lot
回
about the
バー
other
ッと盛り上
games
がるか
too.
どうかは
I thought that was
こ
really
の
cool.
先
Because he
No,
actually
that's
plays
cool.
games.
Yes.
I think like we
Yeah.
talked to him about like 30 different games, and he's just like he's better at the game too than like everybody else. Like that was my favorite thing. Like he just kept being like, when I play a game, I want to be the best. Like he's just the coolest he's just cool. Like, he's actually so cool. Like, I'm fanboying super hard, but he deserves it, man. He's a literal god gamer, man. Dude, also at the one point, I'm not gonna spoil this because this
is why Yoshi-P will be the
awesome.
next prime minister of Japan.
Wait, dude, he has a job change mid interview. It's incredible. We'll keep
You
going.
guys don't know him yet. He's a master manipulator.
ってくるのかなと思ってます。
He's a master manipulator.
And so, of
You guys
course,
don't know
with
him yet.
an MMO launch, it's always very interesting to watch just the behaviors, like with all the bugs and issues that they find, or we call it login wars, like people stuck in queues for login, whether or not you can actually access the game, is something that's actually kind of exciting watching a new MMO launch, and everybody's kind of like looking for their way, kind of feeling their way through the dark, and it's very interesting. But I think
This was
right after
when
we
it
were
starts
getting-
to
I
calm
was
down
in
after a
queue
little
at the
bit,
time of this.
and
Yeah, dude. Well, this was it the day the New World came out, or was it the day, like 2
The
days
day after.
Day after?
Dude, I heard New
like,
World got a 10-day
that's
queue.
what's
Is that
so
real?
Cool about this interview, and you'll see it throughout the entire
I
thing.
saw on Twitter
He doesn't
somebody
hold
was
back.
saying there's a
It
10-day
was the
queue
same
on New
interview that
World.
we would have
Is
had
that
if
real?
it wasn't going to go live. It was genuinely a conversation.
Wait,
We talked about
really?
other games. He didn't go like, oh, because
10
my
days?
corporate's gonna kill me if I talk about a competitor. We straight up can talk about other games. We can actually have a conversation with him as a human being. I think I even did talk about One Piece a little bit. Like, we actually get to have a conversation. So he's talking about New World. He knows exactly what's going on with New World, and he's not afraid to say it.
if the game is able to kind of maintain that momentum, I think is very dependent on whether or not an MMO is
You know, to be fair, as an Asian, this is quite common. Like an Asian company, an Asian organization wouldn't be so worried to we like Asians, right? You know now that Rich talk about this, it kind of make a little bit sense regarding culture. As an Asian, right? We don't really care about what other people do. We don't really care whether people are doing better than us. We just do what we do. And if we fucked up, we fucked up. If other people fucked up, they fucked up. Who wins, who lose, who's faster, who's slower, who's better, who's not better, don't fucking matter to us. We mind our own business. Like if we go to Japan data center and we play with static, right? We don't have this tension slash compensation, tension slash competition slash conversation where people will start to say, oh, yo, that static is on this phase. Yo, that static is doing that. Oh my god, I can't believe that static clear faster than us. Oh wow, that static is not even good. How did they get there? We just mind our own business. It's always about just what we do and then whether we get it done and then we just do our shit the next week or something. We don't really care about like even for my, like when I go to work back then, right? I don't see people talking about, wow, this company is stepping over our head. This company is doing better than us. We need to do better than this company. It never really occurred to us, you know. But then when I play in NA, right? Again, this is just strictly just Final Fantasy XIV context. I noticed that people give too much shit about what others are doing. They are already there. Oh my god, we need to do better. Oh my god, this person clear faster. Oh my god, this person is our competition, even though it's not. Like, and I guess that's what World of Warcraft been doing, right? That's what World of Warcraft been doing for the last 10, 15 years, right?
survives, because right now, of course, yes, we have been seeing a lot of different MMOs kind of releasing or launching close to each other.
Yeah,
and it does
it's
seem
like
like
it's culture, right?
MMOs overall is showing excitement and just everybody is getting excited about it. But I think the real test is going to happen like 6 months
The
down
Western
the
culture
line
is different.
or
I'm not
to a
trying to say that
year
it's bad.
down the line.
It's just different.
で
Yeah.
一個だけ
That's one thing I definitely
すごい
noticed.
ゲームデザイ
NA
ンの
couldn't
ポイン
mind
ト
their own
があって
fucking business.
今
That's
の世の
just
中
one thing.
やっぱみんないろんなものを触りたい、触っていいと思うんだけど、ゲームがこうコミュニティもそうなんだけど、一つのゲームにこう縛ろうとするみたいなことを強くやり始めると結構苦しくなると思ってます。いろんなものを今やっぱりエンタメってそういう時代になったので、そこが結構重要なポイントなんじゃないかなと思うので、まあどういうゲームデザインでそれぞれがこう
I'm taking notes, by the way, but I look like I'm watching someone get murdered. Like, I look so nervous. I was taking notes the whole time.
突き進んでいくのかっていうところはすごい興味深く見てます。
Why is this so
And I did want to
serious?
add,
Okay, to be fair,
with
Asmongold
game
also does
design
look very
for kind of
serious.
like
Let's be
these,
honest.
I
Asmongold,
think I
okay,
know
Asmongold
players.
is not a very formal person, but this is as formal as you ever gonna see Asmongold being. Is sitting up straight, actually hands on like the lap, actually like listening attentively, getting ready. This is as formal as you actually will see Asmongold ever.
Will
To be
always have
honest, it's not just
experienced
reach, right?
many different things, like a variation of different elements. But also at the same time,
Asmongold is
there
playing New
are
World.
very strong-minded community that tend to want to tie people down and kind of chain them down in some instances. And I worry about like the pressure that might place on a player. And so with entertainment, there are just so many options nowadays. And so I think that's an important point to keep in mind about just there is so many things available that we allow for that freedom to kind of experience the different elements out there and what kind of game design we are able to sort of provide for those players to keep their interest.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I'm really curious about overall when you look at MMOs, because making an MMO to me, like my hat goes off to all of you because it seems like an absolute
I can't believe
nightmare.
you actually wear
the
that
actual
shirt.
amount of
He smiled.
resources
He
and
smiled.
to actually be able to distribute something. I feel like one of the things that we've seen happen to so many MMOs is they have to
He
fall
knew.
back on mass appeal, and you get in this weird area where the game is ultimately being made for players who hate the game and don't want to play the game. And now as I start to look at games like even like New World, it's much more focused on a different aspect and it's more one tracked and trying to attract a different type of player. Do you feel like game design and
I actually like the question they're asking. Now obviously I don't expect them to ask Final Fantasy 14 technical questions, right? But I think it's very interesting that him and Asmongold come from another game. They are they were exposed to a lot of more like, how do I say, these two people are people that taken more shit than anybody else, right? In terms of on social media and or the game that they played, right? So they come to Final Fantasy 14. Obviously, you know, these are the questions that they feel like asking. It's more like more technical, more non-Final Fantasy 14 related, more generic, more like I feel that's why I feel like their question is more interesting than. I mean, I expect what Happy is gonna ask. I expect what Mistake is gonna ask. I expect what a Final Fantasy 14 player is gonna ask. And yeah, yes, those are also very good questions, right? But like for them, I expect them to ask things like Yoshi-P either not comfortable with because they don't know him, right? And they just came into the game, right? If you got any query, any question mark, this is the time to dump it on him, you know? So it's like,
MMOs
it's quite interesting to see.
There is more of an opening for niche MMORPGs instead of these giant, massive.
And I'm not even sure whether they ever got a
Frankenstein
chance to talk to
monsters where
WoW
everything's slapped in,
or
none of it's
Blizzard
great, it's all
employee
watered
like that,
down.
you know what I mean?
Or do you
How
feel
do they
like
feel about
MMOs
this?
are always going to
This
shoulder
is
that
new to
burden
them. We
and
still
just
live
require
letter
too
for
many
60
resources?
episodes already. Right? To them, this is their
すごいい
first
い
time,
こと
you
をおっしゃ
know?
ると思
She
い
didn't even
思って
flinch.
おります。という
She
の
didn't
も、そ
even
の結構
flinch.
その
Paragraph
MMO
Peter,
を
and
作
she
るにあ
feels
たっ
she
て
shows
ど
no
のような
fear.
ゲームデザインにしていくかに関しては、まあおそらく
Like this type of small little thing for them must be so fucking huge. Because I mean, I can't say too much about Rich. Like for Asmongold, for instance, right? I think he's given and he has been taking and given too much shit than he deserved. Not just from his viewers, not just from his community, but also from other game developers. Blizzard, obviously, especially, right? Now, suddenly, you just play this new game that everybody's talking about. You start to only see the surface thinking. Now, I don't want to shit on his serial, right? They are barely scratching the surface in terms of like knowing or fully understanding this community and what Yoshi-P is actually bringing in to the table for you guys to consume. They are quite new. They are like those people who just go to this new restaurant that is in town and then they don't know what it is, and then on the outside you got really nice waiter, waitress welcoming you. It's a very nice place. You sit down properly, you have a nice dinner, you go home, you're like, holy shit, that's amazing, isn't it? We haven't had that for years, you know? Right? They are just there, right? They just came, right? For us, we've seen all this already, right? But to them, right, all this shit that they have been taking for the last 10, 5, 15 years in game, on stream, from the community, from random people, and then suddenly you get Aimi and Yoshi-P seemingly like showing you Right, we say showing you all the respect, like what a stranger to a stranger should show. But I would expect if I go to Japan, if I go to Lawson, if I go to Family Mart, if I walk on the streets of Kobe, oh, especially the streets of Kobe, holy shit, man. There's so many nice, beautiful girls that is like handing you pamphlets, a brochure and stuff. You know, it's really nice, right? But in America, at least from what I've seen in Borat, it does feel it's not this way, right? What the fuck are you looking at? You sit on the train and you look at somebody will come up with it. What the fuck are you looking at? Like in Japan, no. In Japan, in Taiwan, no. If I go to Japan, no, if I go to Taiwan, if I go to Japan, and if I actually compliment somebody on the streets, they will actually smile back at you and say, arigato gozaimasu. Oh, thank you so much. Not really. Oh, don't say that. Whereas if you do that in America, they're gonna fucking shit in your face. You know, that's one thing I do realize. Culture, right?
ゲームを開発されている身にしては、まあ、それが
It's
いかに悪
basic,
夢なのであるか
social,
は
even though
わか
it's
ると思います
stranger,
そ
but
の
you can feel the
どういっ
respect,
たリ
right?
ソースを
But
割り
they
当てる
don't
であった
get
り、ま
that,
あ
you
どうい
know,
ったゲ
because
ー
they
ムデザ
got
イン
so
をどこ
much
に配置
shit
するかであったりの判断
in
を
their
下すの
streaming so far in
に
their
至るま
streaming
で
career,
いろいろ
right?
と多分ご判断されることがあるかと思います。
Yes, that's true in Japan. That's true in Japan. That's why you guys always look at me, right? Whenever I see a girl, whenever I talk to a girl, I start to go into this sim mode. I'm not trying to be a creep. I'm just trying to be nice. Because when I meet my friends in real life, when I go to Japan, when I go to Disney World, when I go to USS, when I go to Taiwan, when I go to the streets and I see people wear nice, sometimes we talk to them. You know, sometimes like say, right, those they hand a brochure, right? So we will like go to the like we will ask direction. I always only ask directions through pretty girls. I will not ask a random stranger, a random sumo. Yeah, there are sumos walking around Osaka, right? I don't really ask those. I particularly only ask cute girls. I always do. And then after that, the conversation will go. So sometimes my wife will help me look out and say, yo, go and ask that girl. That girl is really cute. Then I will just go and ask. And after we ask the direction, I'm like, oh, you are really cute. You know, it looks really nice. Where did you work as? They will be like, thank you. Don't say that. I just work for this place. You should check out this place. Yeah, I'll check out this place. Nope.
まあ、昨今の MMO の中でなんだろうマスアピールに偏りすぎてしまう作品も出たりしていると思います。で、そういう作品を見ているとどうしてもそのマスに偏ろうと頑張りすぎちゃって、
By America, you don't do that,
ゲー
right?
ムも
That's
嫌いに
creepy,
なって
right?
る人たち、ゲームを遊びたくない人たちに向けて作ってるんじゃないかと思わせるような感じがしたりします。ただ最近出ましたニューワールドとかを見ていると、すごい雰囲気が違
There
う
was one time I remember
異
it
なる
was
というふうに
March.
感じました。
I
結構
just
その
I
なんだろう
went from the airport to our
筋が通っ
hotel.
ている
There
と
was
いう
it
か
was so
す
fucking
ご
cold.
い
It was like 15, 16
作ら
degrees.
れ
It was
作り
really,
方
really
が
cold. I was wearing 3 layers of clothes
なん
and
だろ
then a
う異なるの
jacket.
ですごい魅
There
力
was
的に
this
感じたん
girl,
ですけれ
right?
ど
She
も
was on
そう
her
いっ
way to
た
the
まあ
JR
ニッ
station.
チ
She
じゃない
was
ですけれ
wearing
ど
Dude,
も
short
そういっ
I
た
know
そ
so
の
with
much.
黄色の
stockings.
違う
I couldn't
MMO
help
作
but keep
品
looking
を
at it.
参入さ
When
せる
she
ような
translates
機
for
会
me,
が
she
And then
has
she
to say
noticed I'm
auto so
looking at
many
it.
times.
And then she came up to me and asked me, is anything wrong? So I just asked, how come you're wearing like that? Isn't that cold? You know what she told me?
水増しされ
For
た状態
fashion.
でつなぎ合わせられている作品も出る中で、
For
なんかなん
fashion.
だろうそういったところの、まあ、吉田さんの
You
見
say
解
it's, she
という
do
か
this
どう
for
いった
fashion?
作品というか、その状況に関しての吉田さんのお考えをぜひお伺いしたいです。
そういう意味だと MMO って作る人が結構決まってたんですよ。そのベテランで MMO が好きでっていう人たちが
I'm taking this Japanese chance to just talk over because honestly you guys don't fucking understand. I'm just and you guys are just wanting to hear what we say and what Aimi says in English. What this part you guys don't understand. And if I translate this, it defeats the whole purpose. It's kind of like I talk too much, I talking over. So this is the best chance for me to talk something else.
I love how every time Yoshida-san answers a question too, the second it's his turn to answer the question, he gets like excited,
yeah, I think
man.
it also
Like,
lends.
you watch him like rev up. He's like, here we go. He answers every question so seriously. Did you feel this way as well, like Asmon, where it was like you almost didn't want to make too many jokes because you knew that he would answer it very seriously?
Oh, I don't know. I had a lot of actual questions. Like I didn't even have like a lot of jokes to begin with, to be honest. Like I was like, yo, like I'm wondering about this, I'm wondering about that.
Yeah.
Like that's the way I see it. Because like sometimes it's hard to get those jokes across with translation, I'd assume.
I knew that he like. I mean, she's so good at translating that I knew it's only you, Rich. Well, I came with like 37 memes, right? That I was ready for, but if we had 4 hours, we probably would have gotten to them. But what Asmon's saying is
just invite Yoshi-P to Allcraft.
Amount of time, so there were a lot of things that we wanted.
Bro, that is the simplest question. You just get Yoshi-P on Allcraft. Get Aimee on Allcraft.
He fully answers to the best of his ability all the questions. I respect it so much.
To back in the
put it
day,
out there,
people
right?
Who created MMOs tend to be very similar. Like they love MMOs and they're veterans, and you know it's kind of limited. But nowadays, I am seeing more and more developers who grew up playing these MMOs, and they have their
Except
own vision
Blizzard.
of, oh, I want to make this kind of game. Going
Except
into
Blizzard.
it. And so I think that's what's contributing to these different styles of MMOs that are.
That's what
coming out,
contributed
and
to Blizzard's
believe that
downfall.
That's a wonderful thing.
ただ MMO ってやっぱりゲームであると同時にサービスでもあるので、やっぱりインターフェースだったりとか、その短時間で遊べるコンテンツがあるかどうかとか、そういうなんか他のサービスに存在しているものの要求レベルが非常に高いので、まあ、そこに関してはやっぱりもう負けずに、もしくは今足りなくても着実に積み上げていくってことがとても大切なので、やっぱりこう資本を裏で持ってる人たちがそういったゲームデザイナーたちをどれだけこう応援してあげられるか、お金を切らさずにね、まあ、そこも実は MMO を成功させる要因のうちにはとても大切なので、まあ、そこをこうバックボーン側にいる人たちが支えてくれると嬉しいなとは思います。
McDonald's, McDonald's, McDonald's.
And so, but that being said, of course, while MMOs are a video game and a form of entertainment, it's at the same time a service that we are providing to players. And so we have to be careful about, okay, what kind of interface are we providing? Is there content that players can just jump on for a short amount of time and just jump off? And
You guys see what Yoshi-P is doing, right? You guys see what Yoshi-P is doing, right? What Rich and Asmongold sees here is a guy that is super professional and is answering their question like a true professional with respect and with clarity and with transparency. But you know what Yoshi-P is doing here, right? Yoshi-P is explaining all this stuff and his ideal for Final Fantasy XIV and what an MMORPG should be. In a way, these two guys is gonna go back, react to this interview, and then they're gonna shit on Blizzard, and then they're gonna see how fucking good Yoshi-P is. And then Yoshi-P will sit at the top of the mountain and say, yes, I am better than Blizzard. Yes, exactly. He's doing what Blizzard hasn't done in the last 10, 15 years.
Everyone went McDonald's.
Now, they are the ambassadors of Yoshi-P. I'm not sure about Asmongold. I'm not sure whether Asmongold is as deep as Rich is. Rich is full-on fanboy, probably bought Yoshi-P's underwear and is probably wearing it for tomorrow's stream already. You know what I mean?
just the level that is expected in terms of
I'm sorry to pause, but Asmon literally looks like a Naruto character about to cast the jutsu, man. He's praging.
service that we provide through these games are quite high, and the expectation is there. So I think at the same time, like the creative aspect of it is important.
If there are a fraction of WoW players that have not played this game yet for the last 2 months, when almost other WoW player hop on, this interview right here, the moment it gets officially to the Reach and Asmongold's YouTube channel, and then they get 1 million view, okay? We're gonna see another influx of player coming in just because of this interview. You see what Yoshi-P is doing here, right?
But at the same time, we also need to make sure we have the sort of resources available to kind of build upon that experience. Even if you're lacking now, as long as you can continue and to sustain yourself, you can build on it and glean more experience. So I think it also requires for there to be good backing for investors to kind of love the product and sort of back up those creative minds so that they can continue to sustain themselves as well, kind of having them as a backbone to support those creators.
I thought that this was like one of the. It's super early in the interview, but it's a really important answer because.
Is that why Style didn't get an interview? Because this shit took 1 hour. And also technical difficulties, right?
It shows that they're not scared to actually mention the fact that it's like, no, it is realistic. This is a business. That is what it is. We do have to make some decisions around that, because it's really easy for that question to just be like, we just make exactly what the people, and like, we're all just having fun. He's like, no, it is a business. We do have to consider that, even with the changing climate of MMORPGs.
Because that's what Blizzard done to you guys. That's why you guys think that is normal. For me, this is normal. For them, this is awesome.
This was a real conversation.
For them, what Blizzard did to them was bad, was normal.
We got the true answer. They say it how it is. And that really set the mood and the pace of the interview for me. It was that early question there.
その新しいゲーム、特にニューワールドもそうだけど、僕らはめちゃくちゃ刺激になるので、
Whoop say really? Wow.
マスターで忙しすぎて触れてないけど、終わったらすぐ
To be fair, they deserve more than they deserve a private session. More than 1 hour, they do.
スパイスにさせてもらいたいので、すごい楽しみにしてます。
But I don't mean to repeat myself, but with New World being out, that is definitely a great source of like stimulation that we can get. Of course, right now we're on Endwalker and we're trying to master up and
the people took 10 years to realize.
You know, once that has settled down, I'm hoping.
You want to know what makes me sad? I mean, kind of like not related to the interview and of Final Fantasy XIV. You want to know what makes me sad? Match in the last 1 week. I mean, again, right, I'm not trying to simp for Final Fantasy XIV, right? Like, if you ask me, I will tell you Final Fantasy XIV is maybe just a B MMO. It's not an A, it's not an S. It's just a B MMO. It's good. It's one of the best today. I don't mind playing it. I don't think I waste my time playing it. I enjoy playing it, but it's not my best MMO experience. But it's as good as it gets today for me. In my current position, in my current age, my situation, and the current market, right? Fine, great, okay. You know what pisses me off? WoW is so fucking bad, people still sim for it, and then people exodus it, great, but there is still some remnants that is still playing the game. They were in copium, you can tell, they don't want to play the game anymore, but they don't have anything else to do, and they refuse to play Final Fantasy XIV, stubborn, and then they'd rather play New World than Final Fantasy XIV. That's what pissed me off. It's like I don't blame McConnell. I don't blame McConnell hating weeby stuff. I don't hate him because he has his philosophy and he's stuck to it. But dude, just don't think so much. Think of this as you are an MMORPG player. You've been playing MMORPG. You deserve to play something that is better than what you're playing. I'm not saying that 14 is the best, but you deserve to try it out. Endwalker is coming. This is your chance. Just give it a go. 1 month. But the fact that you don't even want to, in denial, and then you rather play New World, that actually fucking sickens me. I feel really bad.
That we get a chance to get our hands on it as well, to gain that sort of new experience, so that it'll add some spice to our creativity as well.
Yeah, I think that's one of the best things about seeing all these MMOs is kind of
like
seeing
try it. It's fine. Final Fantasy XIV is not gonna devour you.
Kind of be shared between the different games.
Give it a go.
And whenever you're talking about the MMO and the game itself as really,
I'm so glad Asmongold and Rich give it a go, really, and I'm so happy that they enjoy it, really.
For one thing that's always been in a balance with MMOs,
the fact that they even got to this interview. I'm pretty sure they didn't regret one bit trying Final Fantasy XIV. I really don't think. I think they're truly enjoying themselves.
Is the difference between a solo player and the difference between a group player, and also about punishing content as well. And how do you draw the line between making content for just the individual solo player and still keeping it in the feel of an MMO? And also with punishing content and time, basically things that make you spend more time
This is a
playing
cool
the game.
question.
Holy
things like
shit, this is
running
such a
back to
fucking
your
good
body,
question. Holy
things
fuck.
like repairing your gear. Many of the I think the legacy
Well, whether you guys like it or hate it, man, Asmongold is a very insightful person. He might look memey, stupid, or anything. This guy know what the fuck he's talking about. And that makes it even better because his English is so fucking good. I watch it because his English is so fucking good, man. It's crazy, man.
features and old school feel of MMOs, and not necessarily just feel, but the features of MMOs that really kind of make them take a lot more time. Final Fantasy, it seems like, has shed a lot of those different features, and you're able to go directly to the boss. There's not really a lot of trash mobs and everything like that. And so
I'll be back in a few minutes.
basically,
Okay.
what is the balance that you're trying to strike between making the MMO a super ease of access solo player experience?
What if Asmongold is hired by Blizzard to ask all this stuff? Yeah, Blizzard hates Asmongold. That is the marketing, that is the shred they were going for. Knowing that there's no way Blizzard will endorse Asmongold, and therefore Asmongold could never be a spy. That's how you send a spy in. Have you guys not watched Hollywood movie? That's what we call deep cover.
Versus a more punishing and involved MMO experience that I think people have come to, in a way, expect with MMOs. And I think in a good thing, in a good way, it's been a breath of fresh air. Final Fantasy didn't have many of those things.
So, by the way, just a little bit of behind the scenes. So, Asmon and I, we've been doing interviews together for 5 years now. And we have, like, a system for how we, like, kind of write and ask the questions. So, like, we kind of always know when the other person's about to, like, break out one of these questions. And I was waiting for this one because this one is one of those questions that it's a very personal gamer question. And you learn a lot in this question.
So
about,
there is
you
a
know, how
plan
Yoshi-P
in their
actually plays
interview.
games.
Wow,
Way
I'm
too
impressed.
long. Well, that's just how me and Asmon talk. My notepad is usually only 3 words for each question. Or not 3 words, like just a few words, like less than a line on the page. But then, you know, you just start popping the fuck off. You know, Asmon just starts going. I'll start going. 3 words. Imagine if I could ask every question in 3 words. You are cool. I like you. Host me, please. Step on me. Nope, can't do it.
Oh my god. It's too deep in.
本当にそうですよね。この新しい MMO が続々と出てくることによって、いろいろな人たちがそれぞれ刺激を受けて、それぞれの、本当に混ざり合うというふうにおっしゃっていましたが、その通りだと思っています。さて、その MMO が、もちろんゲームであり、サービスであるというふうにおっしゃっていましたし、ということはやはりプレイヤーとしては、プレイヤーは消費者という形で MMO は
You know, if you are just talking about in-game, I can understand that she can translate all this stuff. Holy shit, she can translate all this technical stuff. I'm actually quite impressed now.
グループで本当に手強いコンテンツを時間をかけてやりたいというグループもいたりするかと思いますので、その
She got all that.
コンテンツを作るにあたって、
She actually got all that.
その取り方というか、その MMO の感覚を保ちつつ、ソロでプレイできる要素で、それに対してより結構重いじゃないですけれども、その時間をかけてその手強いコンテンツをやっていく人のためにも、そのちゃんとしっかりとした充実した内容を提供する時のその判断基準というか、結構 MMO だと、ご存知かと思いますが、そのいろいろとそのいろんなところを走り回って行ったり来たりするであったり、装備品の修理であったり、結構そういう細かいところで時間をかける部分もあったりする上に、
No, she didn't really come out from this translation scene until like 1 or 2 years ago. The very first time when she came on screen and do translation, she was a bit lost. She was a little bit slow. She doesn't understand the context. But since then, she's been a lot better.
Going up soon. Even higher quality on
As I wonder whether Koji got fired.
答えるような
Maybe Koji got
体験を
promoted.
期待する
you
人
know?
たちのそのバランスの取り方をぜひ知りたいです。
そうですね。僕自身
Because when you talk about translation, when you talk about trying to relay message, feelings, context, as a Japanese, you need to understand how the English culture works. Some things that you say in English is so hard to translate into Japanese. That's what Koji did fucking well. But Koji is not like full Japanese, right? So if Koji do it, you kind of can get it. And when she first came on to do it, she wasn't this good and confident. But over the last 2 years, I think, that's the thing about being a translator, right? Not only you have to understand your culture, you also need to understand. It's not just word by word translation. That's Google Translate. That's why Google Translate sometimes suck. You know?
もともとかなりのヘビーゲーマー
Context is so important when it comes to translation.
ユーザーなので、僕が好きなコンテンツばっかり作ってると、ガッチガチの MMO にまずなっちゃうと思ってます。
So I have to admit, I am actually a heavy MMO gamer.
He loved
so
grinding.
if I were to just make stuff that I felt was like
He loved
good
hardcore
substantial
grinding content.
it's going to be like one of your typical like super hardcore MMO.
This is the one reason I still play Final Fantasy and I still have hopes that this game will become better than it is and this game will one day fully realize its potential. Because of this thing he said right here, not today, but he said this before 3 years, 4 years ago. He said this during Storm's Blood. He said that he understands that this game is already 5 years in during Storm's Blood. He understands that moving for the next 5 years or 10 years, he wants to make a game just full on hardcore. The game, the Final Fantasy XIV that he thinks is gonna be. But sadly, because this game is still fresh during Storm's Blood, he had to make sure that the casual players are priority, but still sneak in hardcore content whenever he can. But eventually, 5 years, 10 years later, when the game reached the stage where it's no longer new, where they have just go into, looking at the loyalist player, that's where he's gonna bring out the big gun, he's gonna make hardcore content, he's gonna make everything grindy. But until then, he can't. So I believe him, right? Because he put out Ultimate. When he said that, Ultimate wasn't released yet. So I kind of I didn't buy it, I thought it was bullshit. Then he came out with Ultimate. The moment he came out with Ultimate, it changed my thinking for Final Fantasy XIV. I legit thought Storm's Blood could be my last expansion. I legit thought maybe I won't play this game longer because, dude, I'm not going to just sit here every day, 3 hours a day, 4 or 5 days a week, just to do casual Savage and still get week 1. That's not good enough for me, right? That's not grindy enough. That's not hard enough for me. That's not hardcore enough for me, right? And then Ultimate came out. He dropped Ultimate. He dropped 2 Ultimate, really quality Ultimate. It changed my mind. I'm like, okay, you know what? I'll buy. I'll play another expansion. He came out awesome. Didn't get a second Ultimate, a little bit disappointed. 6.0, my expectation is so low. It's okay, I'll pack it back up. But 7.0, man, he will have to resell this game to me. Now, my expectation is really high. But now that he say this again, I still do believe he thinks Final Fantasy XIV have a next level. We just don't get to see it yet. And then now we have all-time sales for Endwalker. Fucking wild shit on itself. And half or a quarter of its player base came over. Now this game is going to full cycle again as a new game for a lot of people. What stance are they gonna take in 7.0? That's what 7.0. That's why I just now keep the last few days I keep saying 7.0, 6.0 could be my last expansion. I'm not sure, I'm 43 already. By then, I'm not sure whether I can play MMO and streaming until I'm 50, into my 50s. I don't see how I can do it. But if he can sell me something and he can show me that he mean it like he did in Storm's Blood, I don't mind being on board for another 5-10 years. Right? So I'm glad. That's why I say this question is so fucking good. I'm glad that he actually said this.
下手したらね、仕事を辞めてた可能性もあるぐらいなので。
He still has it in him,
One false
that gaming
step and I
passion.
may have just left my job,
もし今僕が MMO
Job change!
まあゴリゴリやってた時に今のようにストリーミングっていうことがあったら僕仕事
You guys always think I shit on Yoshi-P. Dude, I'm Yoshi-P's biggest fan, man. It's just I don't simp it like how Rich is showing it. I like Yoshi-P. If I get a chance to talk to Yoshi-P, trust me, I was fucking suit up.
ことをやめてた可能性が非常に高いと思います。
I'm sure if streaming had been available,
It's just,
when I was
I gotta be real, right?
really into like obsessively playing these MMOs, I would have like not gone to an office job. I would have chosen the path to become a streamer.
I want to say this right now. If you ever actually want to become a streamer, you can join OTK, and I will relinquish all of the Asmongold hosts that I usually get. You can get all of the Asmongold hosts. I mean, if you want to host me after your stream, sure. Yoshida-san, I'll take a host, okay? I'll take a host.
I'm back.
Hey, I was just I was formally inviting Yoshida-san to join OTK.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yep.
That'd be all right.
Wait, what are you guys saying?
I'll be alright.
F. Saved? F? Wait, we F'd? Are we okay? Wait, why are they saying F? No F? It didn't even drop? Okay. Okay, here's the deal. If you want to join OTK, you're welcome. Yeah, we would just get to the part of the interview where he said if he could, or if it was an option, he probably would have become a streamer.
Bullshit.
Yeah,
Yoshi-P
I know.
is gonna be a
remember
politician.
That was really funny.
Dude.
I think by
join
I think by 58 years old, Yoshi-P will be the Prime Minister of Japan.
It's a good thing it wasn't.
He still has his hair because he didn't end up streaming.
Oh
で
my
もまあ
god.
その中でやっぱり MMO を遊んでくる中でやっぱ友達になった人たちって必ずしもヘビーゲーマーばっかりじゃなかった。日々フレンドとチャットをすることを楽しみにその世界に来てる人たち。風景を見て回りたくてそのためにレベリングをしている人たち。で、自分がすごい難しいレイドもしくはもう何百時間もかけなきゃ取れないようなウェポンを取って帰ってきたときにまるで自分のことのように喜んでくれるフレンドだったり、すげえ武器ある、ちょっと見せてほしいって、そういう人たちがいて、初めて、その、世界って共有されてるし、自分ももっと強くなりたい、上手くなりたい、すごい武器取ってきてみんなに見せたいっていう欲求が生まれると思ってるので、僕にとっては、なんか、全部がとても大事なので、そのすごいヘビーユーザーって声が大きいからよく聞こえてくるし、どうしてもそっちの意見にこう引っ張られがちなんだけど、そうじゃない。世界を支えてる本当にたくさんの普段は声をそんなに上げない人たちによって僕らヘビーゲーマーゲームの中でゴリゴリレイド行ってるような人たちも支えられてるっていうことをすごい学んできたというか教えられてきたので、僕はどっちに対しても欲張りなので、もうどっちに対してもコンテンツを提供するっていう以外の答えがないんです、まず。
Heavy gamer.
But yeah, but while I was playing a whole lot of MMOs,
all these old
I
school
would
things,
meet
right?
other players, of course.
All this
and,
achievement
you
leveling,
realize that
getting
some of
raid
them
gear.
may just come
You know, all
into
these
the
super
game just to
achievement.
chat with the other players. They
As a
might
hardcore gamer, it's no
just
longer the
want
thing
to
anymore,
tour
right? For
around the
today, he
area,
can't
just
just
look
do
at the
that anymore, you
environments,
know.
just
Like what he
admire
said
the
5 years,
view,
like
and
what he
that's
said
the
4
only
years
reason
ago,
why
right?
they level their character.
Like what
Or
he said 4 years
some
ago,
of
you
them
know,
may
he
be
can't
those
do it yet.
hardcore raiders that want to go into punishing content,
He
spend
has to
hundreds of
cater for
hours to
everybody
get
from
that
now.
super cool shiny weapon, you know. But then you also had the friend who's like, "Oh, I love what weapon you got. Let me see. Let me see. I have no idea what content you went into, but that's a really cool looking weapon." And so there's just so many different people, so many different kinds of people playing MMOs, and once you see all those people there, that's when you first realize that, oh, this world is being shared by a whole bunch of other people.
It's no longer
And
just,
by
he
looking
can
at
no longer
the other
just make it
players, you
hardcore
realize,
for
well,
now.
I want to be like them. I want to get stronger. I do want to get better. You know, that weapon is really cool. I really want to go and get it. And it's just everything is so important. Like we don't want to neglect people.
That's
just
why he
because
said
they're
5 years
casual or
ago.
just
That's
because
how
they're
he
heavy
says 5
raiders,
years
you know?
later.
Of course,
We are gonna
a
get
lot
so
of
much new
the vocal people
players.
tend to be the heavy gamers. I have noticed. So
When
I know our opinions
I'm
kind
not trying to
of
be
get
selfish, right?
influenced by those louder
I
voices,
have
so
my
to
own
speak.
demands, right?
But I think we also have to understand that our world is being supported by not just them, but there are a whole
Literally
group
you?
of other
Shut
people
up.
who enjoy the game in their own ways. They may not be as vocal as some of our players, but um, the world is not just like me with the heavy raiders and the super hardcore people, but there are different people supporting this world. And so, I mean, I'm greedy. I want to satisfy everybody. I love the super casual solo players, and I also want to provide punishing content for those who want to go in and hardcore raid. So, I don't know.
He
That's
did. Like I said earlier, he did. He said this during Storm's Blood, and he did with 2 ultimates. That's what's got me so, right?
that's the first thing I
But now that he say this, and then now we have this huge influx. Now we go into 7.0. It's gonna be a brand new beginning, and then with this current situation, and he still think the same. That means we are never gonna. Okay, he said 5 years ago that 10 years later he would be able to make the Final Fantasy 14 that he as a hardcore gamer would want to see for the loyalists, for the leftovers. Now we are only in year 5. After Endwalker, we will be year 7. Maybe he's not lying yet. He's not making empty promises yet.
would say. I
5 more
want to
years.
deliver content for both groups.
5 more years.
That moment right there, I was like, holy fucking shit. Like, you're the coolest human being alive. When he was like, I'm greedy. Like, I want to make every single type of player happy. Like, I actually was just like, okay, I'm a fanboy. Like, I'm so fucking tempered. I am tempered by you. But the thing that was really cool to hear, and I've said this a million times with Asmon on Allcraft, that I feel like the trickiest thing for a game developer to do is to be able to hear everything that their player base is saying, but to be able to use that as data to get to the true problem, right? It's the same as a doctor. They see the symptoms, and then they're able to actually give a diagnosis of what's actually going on. And a game developer is very similar. What the players are saying is essentially the symptom. And sometimes you can't just straight up listen to it and just directly do what the player says. Should you be listening to the community? Yes, you always need to listen, but the game developer should be good enough to actually figure out what the answer is. It's not our job as the community to decide exactly what we need, but it is our job to say what we want and say what we're thinking. And when you hear him answer that question, you're hearing that mentality. It's like, yeah, I want to make everybody happy. I want to make the best fucking game ever. I am a fucking legend. And like we are an incredible game studio, right? With an incredible IP. Sometimes it's going to be listening to the community. Sometimes it's not going to be listening to the community. Some parts of the community are going to be louder than other parts of the community, but they're not necessarily more important than other people who are playing the game. And that was one of the...
I feel like that's us. That's the Final Fantasy 14 streamers who are raiding every day. I mean, don't wrong. We are kind of like the minority, to be honest. That's us. We want the world race scene to be better. We want the race to be better. We want more ultimates. We are the guy that talks a lot, but we are not the guy that they have to purely listen to. That's true.
Takes in the interview that I think every aspiring game developers take note.
That's a jibe to Blizzard right there.
I think that it's such an important thing, and I think that's something that's important even outside of game development as well. So that was a really, really incredible answer.
で、14の場合は、おおむね奇数パッチ、メジャーアップデートの奇数パッチはできるだけカジュアル寄りにしよう。で、偶数パッチはレイドを入れて、ハードコアレイダーたちに楽しんでもらおう。でも、例えばだけど、次のパッチ 6.1 では、カジュアル寄りのパッチ 6.1 に次の新しいアルティメットを入れるの。
That's the thing during this part right here where he's gonna cover. is exactly what he said during Storm's Blood, pre-Storm's Blood. You know, he realized that as much as Savage even patch is gonna be enough for hardcore gamers, but he also understand that because the game changed so much, the rate changed so much, the players changed so much, Savage is no longer gonna be enough. And also, you know, them during that time when they decided that Creator was the difficulty for the community, you know, Gordius, Midas, even Koi at the very beginning, the first time in around Reborn was kind of like a little bit too hard. And then eventually when they did Creator, they realized that was the difficulty, that not only hardcore players enjoyed it, but also welcome new players or casual raider to eventually try it and clear it. The clear it was good. Eventually, this is the raid difficulty that they want. That's why Delta Skip, Sigma Skip, Alpha Skip became what it is. But he understands that that's not enough anymore for even patch. That's why odd patches, he introduced Ultimate. Right? That's what, again, a lot of you guys always say Storm's Blood is shit. A lot of you guys always say that Storm's Blood was boring. The story in Storm's Blood was shit. I don't like the area. You know, we are Westerners. There's only so much Eastern culture, Eastern presentation you can give us. We are kind of sick of this. We want something edgy. We want something dark. That's why you guys love Shadowbringer, right? But, dude, Storm's Blood is the best expansion so far that we get. In terms of amount of content, in terms of how good the content are, how much more content we get, Storm's Blood is the best expansion so far. Okay? Whether you like it or not, Storm's Blood is the best expansion so far. Because of all these things that Yoshi-P realized, and all these things that Yoshi-P really bring, it's not just empty talk. And Ultimate, you Cobb and Wu is no fucking joke, man. You guys clear it today, Rich clear it today. I mean, he worked hard for it, but he probably, I think he thinks it's a good content, regardless. I think he thinks it's a challenging content, but he doesn't know, a lot of people doesn't know what it was. But he's gonna do T, and T I think is still relevant. I think then when he do T, he will get a real feel. I don't think he will struggle with T since he's probably gonna do with 7 awesome players, right? But I think when he do T, he will start to realize that, oh shit. You know?
レイダーはもうそれを楽しみにしてくれればいい。メインストーリーが終わって、アルティメットの新しいのをクリアしたら、ワウのレイドをやりに行っても、よりレイドをもっとやりたいんだったら、他のゲームのレイドをやってもらえばいいと思ってて、で、また、その次の、例えば 6.2 が来たら、よし、新しいレイド来たから戻ってくるぞ。もう僕は今の時代はそれでいいと思ってるので、まあとにかく両方に向けて頑張るけど、14で足りないなら、他のゲームをその間プレイしてくれればいいんじゃないかなって。
Man, I mean, that's what we did, right? If there's no content in the patch, if they cannot put out a content to cater for those people that needs more, let's go play another game. I mean, I did. That's actually one good thing about Final Fantasy XIV. The fact that I can go back to play. Like Ion Classic, I love Ion so much. But the fact that there was this content drop, I was able to go hardcore Ion during that. I'm still playing Ion. In fact, I should be playing Ion right now. But because of this interview, I'm most likely going to watch it. And if that's the case, most likely I'm not going to stream tonight. So I can play Ion all night today, I guess. I also play D2R. I also play Shadowland until May, right? From release until May, right? So, you know, he's not wrong, right? But
So with that,
we, like, as much as I don't think Final Fantasy XIV is the best MMO I ever played, this is as good as it gets. I want to spend more time. I want to spend my time in this game like I did during Storm's Blood. That's what I want. Because I really enjoy Storm's Blood. For me, I never played Final Fantasy XIV more than Storm's Blood.
And every
more during Storm's Blood.
patches, we do implement some more casual-ish content. And then in the even-numbered patches, we incorporate the raids, the high-end raids, so that the hardcore raiders can enjoy that content. But while we will be implementing some casual, skewing casual content in patch 6.1, we do intend on implementing the new ultimate raid. So those hardcore battle raiders have something to look forward to in that patch. And so
That's me.
I feel that you have the freedom, like once you've finished off the story and you want some challenging content, of course, please go into the ultimate content. But once that's done and you're still looking for a challenge, and if you want to go to like an encounter in WoW to kind of test your mettle, that's perfectly fine, I think. And then once a new raid is implemented in 6.2,
I translated all that, man. Maybe I should be a translator. Although it's gonna be informal. Like I do a super amazing job formal, but I could be the unofficial translator if you want me to. Anybody want to invite me?
Then
Anybody want to recruit me? I can do translation.
you're more than welcome to come back here as well. I do want to satisfy both ends of the spectrum in terms of casual versus hardcore, but at the same time, if players do feel that they're not quite satisfied with just Final Fantasy XIV, I think we have the freedom for them to kind of explore other games if needs be.
Yeah, I think that's one of the best things about a game like that doesn't have retention mechanisms, is that it.
That's one thing WoW player needs to start to understand. That's what WoW retail players need to start understand. Yes, your vanilla WoW came from vanilla WoW. Those experience, those sentiments, those attachment that you have with the game, yes, is there. That is also Blizzard's biggest problem. They didn't cut the cord somewhere and make a new one, or they didn't cut the cord somewhere and just tell the player the direction of this game is going to be different. It's almost going to be feeling like a new game, but it's still World of Warcraft. They keep going on. It went from classic WoW, vanilla WoW into what retail WoW is today. That's why the players don't recognize what the game is anymore. That's why the player, at the same time, because of that, the players can't let go. Whereas Final Fantasy XIV has been like this since launch. That's why 11 and 14, for me, 11 is better, right? I mean, during my time, I think 11 is better, right? But because Final Fantasy XIV has this cutoff point, when 11 is gone, you come to 14, you can't expect it anymore. So you understand what this product is, and then you realize that if something is lacking and you go play something else, it doesn't feel like you're being betrayed. It's totally fine, right? But as for WoW, right? Because there was no in-between, it transformed, and then the WoW players couldn't cope it. But the WoW player needs to start, the WoW player needs to start understanding already. WoW retail, moving forward, is not gonna be that already. But Blizzard just keep fucking up, and Blizzard just keep going back. They make WoW Classic not enough. They making WoW Classic fresh now. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you, man, Blizzard? That's not the way. That's not the way to tell your players, don't worry, we got this. That is you telling your players, just come back, man. Like just play an older version. Just come back. Just go back. You guys want to go back? Just go back, Like, moving forward, honestly, we don't really give a shit about retail. But if you guys still remember and want a game back then, just go play Classic. That is such a bad take,
It doesn't.
WoW
feel
players
like
need
it's
to
a
understand
job
that.
or a chore or anything like
That's
that.
That's why moving on, Final Fantasy XIV is not a great game. You might not like it, but you should try it. Just for the variety, right?
So I very much appreciate that, and I think many players do as well. And whenever you're talking about challenging content, I think that probably the pinnacle of challenging content is going to be the ultimate fights. And I was curious if there are a few very difficult, as I've learned recently, challenges for solo players, namely Necromancer,
Palace of the Dead, yeah.
the Heaven on High as
Yeah,
well,
this is
the
a good
Lone Hero
question.
title. Are there other plans to add? I believe that there's one 4-man Savage raid. Are there more plans to add?
This motherfucker only played this game for less than 1 month. These guys are asking better questions than Final Fantasy XIV fucking casual player that played for 9 years.
More difficult types of content and more heavy challenges that are aimed towards a smaller group of players, like maybe 4 or 1 player?
That's a
It's
good
so
question.
funny.
That's such a
when-
good
when
question.
You, like, we can watch now. This is the first time I'm watching the interview, but you can watch Yoshida-san's face.
This
and you
is
just
such a
realize
good
he knows
hybrid
everything, 'cause he's already watched
integrated
the streams. He
question
almost-
that
he
actually
understands a
is
lot of-
important
a
for the
lot of these
game
questions,
rather
but
than
also
fucking
it's like
peaches and
he-
watermelons.
I feel like he
You know what I mean?
knew every question we
Bobo
were going to
bits.
ask days before we asked it.
なんだろう、ゲームによってはそういう
I mean, Asmongold, like a lot of Final Fantasy XIV players only started watching Asmongold when he started playing the game, right? So a lot of people always think that Asmongold is like a fucking meme, always think that he's a whiner, he complains a lot, he bitches a lot. But if you guys look at his track record, where he came from, like, dude, just go and watch, like, dude, do me a favor, just go to his alt channel and watch him play New World. This guy is a fucking grinder. The amount of dude, I never seen. Okay, I do grind a lot like him. I think I can grind a lot like him. But the fact that when I see the amount of grinding he does, I'm like, wow, people still play the game like this. You know, the last 5 years watching stream and or playing with all these fucking young punks that they think that they're hot shit, and then when they suddenly when they start grinding, and then when they start doing hardcore content, when you need them to sit down there 5, 10, 15 hours to play at a consistent, not high, but consistent level to get the job done, most of them can't do it. End up, only a few of us was able to grind the whole Ion. End up, only a few of us were willing to grind. And then suddenly, like, outside of this inner circle that I'm in, right? I rarely see people do that, you know? And then suddenly, when I see Asmongold play, when I see Grims, when I see Anthony, when I see Shroud, when they play New World, they are playing like kind of like a casual way, you know, gathering, crafting, doing PvP and stuff. And then I see Asmongold doing PvE over PvE over PvE, going to the elite camps, grinding, just for their legendary, just for the item level upgrade. I'm like, wow, this guy grinds, man. This guy actually grinds. This guy is not just random Tom, Dick, and Harry. This guy is a gamer. This guy grinds. So when he asks question like this, that's a good question. That's what like a gamer will ask. That's why people always say like Asmongold can't clear ultimate. Like dude, if he wants to, if he sits his ass down and wants to do it, he's gonna do it. And you know what? When he finally do it, and when the challenge arises, and he's gonna play better, which he will, he's gonna make you idiots Twitch chat looks like a fucking fool. He will.
Yeah,
and you know what? I think you better hope that he don't.
I wasn't sure how much English he actually spoke, but I felt like he
oh shit
understood basically like the
oh shit, what happened to my P? Hello? Oh my god, my Firefox crashed.
There are more plans to add more different.
結構昔から特に北米を中心にもらう
Yo,
フィー
Z,
ドバッ
thanks
クな
much
んで
for
す
4
け
bucks.
ど、
Have you
いよいよ
finished
ちょ
what?
っと何かしら計画し始めてはいます。
Have I kissed who?
詳しいことはエンドウォーカーリリースした後にプロデュースされたライブでお知らせしようと思ってますけど、可能性は上がってきたかなとだけお伝えしておきます。
You know, I actually get this a lot, namely from North American players.
Yeah.
It seems
This
the
is
desire
just
for
straight up.
a smaller group
Just the thing. I
and
mean, I can watch this.
challenging
This is okay.
content
We're almost
is
half done
quite
already. That's
high.
good.
So the feedback is acknowledged, and we are trying to see if we can plan for something in that vein. But I'm afraid I can't divulge on the details at this time. We do plan to do another live stream after Endwalker releases and things have settled down. We will be doing what's called a letter from the producer live. So I'm hoping that we can share some details and updates on that. But the
4-man Savage content?
the possibility for sure is there.
Yeah, I think in that vein too, one of the questions that I had, you know, giant insurgents of
I
new
done
players
key
coming
already.
into the game, like
Okay, let me change my stream title.
just a whole bunch of new players coming into the game. How much does it affect this current expansion, or how much of it was already so far along or already done that there might not be an impact?
エンドウォーカー自体に関しては後者ですね。特に影響を受けてません。というよりスケジュール的に影響を受けてる余裕がないって言った方が正しいですかね。まず。
So first of all, I think it would be the latter, specifically for Endwalker, only because we don't have any wiggle room to like be impacted by external forces that have come recently.
Yeah, I mean, they have already been planning this for so long, right? The July, I don't think anybody expected this influx. Nobody expected WoW to kill itself, right?
っていうことは、今までのプレイヤーとの価値観と違った価値観で14に接してくれる人たちが増えるっていうことでもあるので、その人たちが14をプレイした時に何を感じるのかっていうのは、僕らはどうしても最新のコンテンツを作っているので、まあ過去のコンテンツをフレッシュな気持ちで遊ぶっていうのは結構。
That's the thing about Final Fantasy XIV. They play so safe. It doesn't even affect them. Whether there's a sudden influx, whether a competitor dies, and then there's a mass exodus from that game and then come to this game, whether there is people that leave the game, you know, loss of player or influx of players, it doesn't fucking matter. Because for them, right, the content that they've been consistently putting out since Realm Reborn, the patch being same old, the patch having just, you know, Savage Raid and then a trial and then some dungeon, and then after that, all patch you got 24-man, Primal, and then now you have an Ultimate. It doesn't change anything, right? Whether you're a brand new player, oh shit, you know, there's so many, okay, guys, there's gonna be another 20 million adventurers characters gonna be created. Now we don't know whether these people actually play Final Fantasy 14. Let's just assume they came from WoW because of the mass exodus from WoW, right? Does our game cater for WoW players or people who don't play Final Fantasy? Okay, can we change anything? No, they don't have to worry about that anymore. Every time they put out an expansion or a patch, we should expect and know that it works. Might not be enough for some of us, but it will always work. So that's the Arthars actually say this before on Mock Talk when I was saying that, isn't that bad that we all know what it is? And then Arthars say, but isn't that good that you know exactly what you're paying for? Every expansion, every patch, every major patch, when you go in, you know exactly what you're gonna go for. You can plan your time, you know what content is there, you don't get too stressed out if something that like Ultimate stressed us out, right? When Ultimate first came out, UCorp, it stressed us the fuck out. None of us Savage Raider expected Ultimate to be like that. We fucking sweating balls, scheduling problem. We didn't expect that the next 7 weeks we'll be raiding UCorp, just to get it clear, right? So that definitely threw a lot of people off. But eventually, the players adopted really quick, really well. We were able to get our shit together, right? But that's a good thing about Final Fantasy, man, because everything is already so streamlined. They don't have to worry about
難しい。
you
だから
whether people
今の
feel
14
disappointed
を
or
ゼロから
random
スタ
out
ート
of
した
touch
時に
to the game.
何を感じるのか、それをどう発信してくれるのかっていうのはすごい僕らにとって大切なので、気づきとして。でそれによってもっとテこ入れをするべきだな、もっとメンテナンスをして、もっとこう間口というか入り口を広げる方がいいんだなみたいなのはすごい最近SNS とかを見てても発見があるので、とても楽しいですね。
But that being said, with new people joining the game, I do understand that some of them might have different values or a different perspective on the game. And so I think it allows for us to have this new insight
Now,
because of
hopefully this
the new
interview
players
finish
that
fast
come in here.
because
And
I got a feeling
I'm very curious to know,
I got a feeling my Firefox
what
is gonna
are
crash again.
these
Whenever
new
my
people
Firefox
thinking
crashes, that
about
means
as
my
they
RAM
start
run out
Final
of memory.
Fantasy
I need to restart
14
my
from
PC. So
scratch? Because we can't go back to old content to get like a new perspective or a new understanding on something. It only happens when you like first encounter it.
wait, WoW is releasing 9.15 state of Endwalker. Well, they are digging their own grave. They are just digging their own grave. Let me tell you something. You know you're gonna lose. You know. I mean, if I use the word lose, I mean it's not a competition. First, it's not a competition. If it's a competition, it should be a healthy competition. But if WoW were to do that, they are just digging their own grave.
I think
They're just digging
so.
their own grave.
Whenever I do see like new players joining in and seeing what kind of information they're sharing with their community or what kind of posts they're making on social, like their sentiment and their
That is literally their Hail Mary to hope that WoW players will go back or the current WoW players that haven't come into 14 yet, it is their last grasp to hold on to them. I don't think Blizzard is that naive and stupid to think that 9.15 being on the same date as Endwalker is gonna bring more people to not play Endwalker and come back to the game or play the game. I just think this is their last stranglehold. There are some of you that haven't come over to Eorzea. There are some of you that's sitting on the fence. Stay. Don't go anywhere.
kind of opinions are very interesting, and I'm
They
very
should release
curious
it
to
earlier.
see what kind of
If they can.
reactions they are getting seeing this content for the first time. And that actually allows for us to kind of identify any areas or pain points that might
Yeah, I saw the Captain Grid
require
video.
our
Yeah.
attention. Are there any areas that we need to go back in and sort of adjust, or do we need to
No, why will
perform
Echo be
maintenance on
modding?
certain elements in our
9.9
games?
9.15 don't have a
And
mythic
so
grade, right? It's
it
still
allows for
9.2.
us
I think
to
it's
kind of
perfect.
open up
That means
that
now Echo
funnel to
limit, maybe
welcome
they
more
can
people
do
in.
WoW,
So
do 14 world
it is
race.
definitely a discovery. It's great to see like new players sharing their opinion over their social channels to see what they're talking about.
でどっちかというと1個だけそのベテランの光の選手たちにどちらかというとお願いがあって、まあ 僕はファイナルファンタジー14のコミュニティ、まあプレイヤーの皆さんは本当に情熱的だし、みんなとてもニュービーに優しいし、本当に世界一のコミュニティだっ
You just use the word newbie.
て自信を持って胸を張って誇りに思ってるんだけど、そのみんな
Max already said that
新
he's
しく始
going
め
to
て
make a group for
迷いながら
Oh,
自
that's
由
good.
に
That's
楽
good
し
to
く
go.
遊んでるの
Wait,
で、
one pro
先回
or
りして
wall
いやい
race?
やあれをやった方がいいよ、これをやった
I
方
mean,
がいい
Wait,
よ、
one pro
いや
is
もうこ
Diamond
こをこうした方
Dozen,
がいいよ、
right?
いや
Are they doing
いいんだ
wall
よ、み
race
んな自由に遊
or
んでるん
wall
だから、
progression?
頼む、困ったんだ、助けてくれって言われたら助けてあげてほしい。でも先回りしてその自由な楽しみ方まで奪わないでほしいので、そこはどうかちょっと離れた位置から温かい目で見ててあげてくれるとすごい嬉しい。みんながそうだというわけじゃない。でも一部14が好きでより楽しんでもらいたいからっていう気持ちが強すぎてそれを言う人たちがいるので、それはちょっと距離を置いてあげてほしい。そこだけかな。
But if I could add one more thing, and I think this is more directed at veteran players who have been with Final Fantasy XIV for much longer. But of course, our community, I am very proud of our community. They are very welcoming, they're very kind. Whenever a newbie joins in, they're quick to help. But some of them, and I feel like we have the best community, one of the best communities in the world. But and I see new players coming in and of course they want
I'm
to
not so
enjoy
sure
that
about that.
freedom of not knowing, like and doing what they want to do and kind of feeling around. And some of these players, bless their hearts, they're so eager to help that they're like, oh no, do this instead. And they're jumping ahead of some of these newbies and just too enthusiastic about helping them. And I feel that they're kind of taking
Gatekeepers?
away from that freedom. So I hope they
You hear that? You motherfucking gatekeeper, stream snipers, cringe lord,
distance themselves just a little bit so that
cloud chasers. Is it called cloud? Cloud, right? CLOUT, cloud, right? Cloud chasers, stream snipers,
they're not overwhelming our
mentors.
newbies. I know they just love the game and they want
This is why this is Yoshi-P reaching out to
for
you.
the players to experience, like get the best experience as quickly as possible. But I feel that their passion is just a
Have you
little
tried Hildy Brand
overwhelming
quest
at
line? It's really
times.
fun
So,
though. Oh god.
I hope that our veteran players are allow for our new players to kind of experience some of this this freedom of discovery.
Sometimes you have to let the new tank open with plunge and not know how to use shirk.
I've learned a lot
There we go. This is where it gets fun, I
of
guess.
things by doing them wrong. So yes, I fully understand that.
そうですよね。タンクにたまにはそのシャークでヘイトを取るのじゃなくてプランジでいきなり飛び込んで間違えさせるのもいいと思うんですよ。で、アズモンさんもそう。
Dude, she's so much better now. She knows the she probably knows more than me in game terms English to Japanese. When she first came on a live letter, when she first helping Yoshi-P translate on Koji's behalf, she didn't know a lot of this in-game terms. She doesn't know how to really relay or translate to Yoshi-P. And then Yoshi-P had to be the one that helped her. That ability is called this. Now she actually immediately knows what it is.
まさに失敗して覚えることもあるので。
そうなの。でも2人とも覚えておいてほしいのは、本当にみんな多分2人のことが好きで14が好きだからより楽しんでもらいたい、よりこの先に待ってる冒険にスムーズにたどり着いてほしいっていう思いが募りすぎて、いやもうクリアするんだったらもう早くこうしてやればクリアできるよって言いたく多分なっちゃうんだよね。でもやっぱり楽しむ、ゲームなんだからエンタメなんだから楽しむことが最優先なので、その声ははいはいって言って楽しむことをぜひ最優先にしてほしい。それはもう14だけじゃなくて他のゲームを遊ぶ時ももちろんそうだ。
Hear that? Hear that? Let people have their fun. Stop trying to gatekeep. Stop trying to tell people what to do. Let them have some fun. Having fun is important in playing game, not just Final Fantasy XIV, but every other game. Stop gatekeeping, you dumb fucks.
しやっぱりなんか本当鎖に縛られると本当つまんなくなっちゃうので、それだけはお願いしたい。
If you let me translate, that will be the translation.
And I'm sure some of these, and I know people who have played with you two as well. They just love your presence there, and they just want to be so helpful, and they really want you to get ahead and see the adventure that lies ahead of you. But some of them get a little too excited about like, oh no, you need to do this in order to get through this content more efficiently and whatever. But I want to tell them like,
Fuck
dude,
off!
it's just entertainment. You're supposed to enjoy the journey here. So I don't know if you ever come across people being a little too enthusiastic in
Tell
their
them to fuck
helping, just
off!
kindly disregard them and just kind of smile and nod.
Ooh, ooh. I think telling them to fuck off is actually more polite, man. Kindly disregard them. Ooh, yow, ouch. Ooh, that hurts. I don't know why. Kindly disregard them. Oh, that actually hurts. I think fuck off is better. I think fuck off is more polite. Kindly, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Twitch chat. I think I need to kindly disregard you guys. I think I shouldn't listen to you guys because you guys are making a lot of noise. I don't particularly enjoy it, and therefore I'm gonna disregard you. I'm gonna disregard your existence. Ooh.
Or whatever, and I hope that players, you included, and our existing community too, I hope everybody just prioritizes having fun in Eorzea. And I mean, not just in Final Fantasy 14, actually, with any game. I don't like it when people chain each other down with weird politics or like awkwardness.
Real talk. Just because Yoshi-P says this, my affection with Yoshi-P has +10. Still not to the point that I will lose my knees over him like Rich though, but just because of what he say right there to the fucking mentors, that's affection +10.
It gets a little boring, if everything is in a set pattern, like if everybody's kind of restricted and limited to like my way or the highway, so I just want people to just enjoy the games.
Yeah, I will say
Good. That's
that
that is so
enjoying it a
dude,
lot. I know
dude,
people like to joke.
that is the Mr. Yoshi-P saying. Wow, I actually call him Mr. now. Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit! Subconsciously, I'm addressing him different now. Ooh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Wait, what? Yes, Mr. Yoshi. Yeah, I'm watching your interview with Asmongold. Yo, that was really fucking good, man. Yeah, you toxic as well, man. Kindly disregard. That's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one. Hey, you don't mind me using that, right? I mean, less toxic, right? Rather than me telling you to fuck. Kindly disregard. Hi. Okay. Yo, thanks, man. Yeah, good interview. I'll continue watching it. Okay.
Joke around about me like stalling, but it's just my immersion. I get so into all the things that are happening at all the times, even if it's just a bard that happens to be standing next to me while I'm walking over to a quest while I'm doing MSQ. But one of the questions I really wanted to ask is just the open communication that you guys have, even us being here right now, the community that Asmon and I originally came from, that was not the case. Not at all, even though we were part of it for a very long time. I understand why different companies have different policies on things like that.
Blizzard.
But I do personally feel like the community being so incredible in this game is a reflection in a lot of ways of how open you guys are to talking to that community. Is there ever any hesitation or nerves? Like, what actually allowed you guys to get to this place where you have such open communication?
You wanna know why? You know what happened? 1.0 happened. 1.0 was so fucking trash when Tanaka got fired or replaced, whatever you call it, by Yoshi-P. Yoshi-P started his producer letter. It wasn't live during the time. It was just on forum. The reason, right? This is not simping, okay? The reason, right? Why I even started playing Final Fantasy 14 was because this guy had his 4th producer letter, and then I read the whole thing. I'm like, holy shit, this guy actually have planned and actually tell the community what he's gonna do. He's gonna implement E3, the first primal in Final Fantasy 14. Back then, 1.0 we only had Drasimil that whole, right? And then we don't have like iconic fights like boss fights, you know. So the very first time I remember the fourth producer letter, he said that he's gonna change the job system, and then he's gonna bring E3 to Final Fantasy 14. I was like, that's why I play Final Fantasy 14. Actually, the fourth producer letter is the reason why I play Final Fantasy 14
with all the players.
because this guy was very open
本
in
当
what he
に
wanted
そう
to
で
do.
すよ。パーティーでプレイしている時も、時々その、動きが遅いから突っ込まれるんですよ。でもそれは自分がゲームに没入していて、ここを味わっているっていう証拠なんです。その MSQ
It's
を
1.0.
メインシナ
The
リオ
reason
を
why
進
they're
め
so
ていく
open, I
中
think,
で、
is
なんか
1.0.
銀融
It's not bad
詩人に
1.0
惹かれてついていくのも、それだと思うんですよね。で、実際にそのコミュニティのお話があったかと思いますけれども、本当にそのコミュニティとのコミュニケーションが非常に風通しの良いものを
結構答えは実はシンプルで、まずそもそも、14がオリジナルで大失敗してる。でそれを僕は後から入って。
Dude, I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, man. You motherfuckers think I don't know about the game. You guys think I don't know what Yoshi-P thinks. You guys think I don't know what Yoshi-P wants to say. You guys always think that I'm dissing on Yoshi-P. Dude, let me tell you, man. I know what this guy is thinking. I played this game when this guy first took over the realm. Until today, 10 years in, I know what this guy is thinking. I know what answer this guy is gonna give.
当然ものすごい怒ってる人たちに対してやり直しますっていう時に謝ることも大事だし、それをどう挽回するかっていうのをちゃんと伝えていくことっていうのは当たり前だと思うんですよ。ミスをしたので。なのでそれをちゃんとしようっていうのを会社に伝えて、やれるんだったらもういいよ好きにやっていいからって言ってもらったんで、それを
You
や
guys
ってる
always
っていう
think
の
I
が一つ。
talk out of my ass. You guys always think I don't know Final Fantasy 14. You guys
I think
always
the
think
answer might
whatever I say
be
is not what
simple,
Yoshi-P
more simple
thinks.
than you imagine. First, Final Fantasy 14 had a horrible launch. 1.0 was quite a failure, and I was brought in to kind of rebuild it after we had fallen flat. And so, of course, the players who were looking forward to a new Final Fantasy MMO were extremely angry. And so the first steps that we took was to apologize to them and then show our commitment to improving and correcting our ways and how we're going to do that and be clear in our objectives and how we're going to make sure we're relaunching. So I felt that that was just natural, or as a matter of fact, to do this first
Blizzard
and
wouldn't do
foremost.
that.
So I consulted corporate and explained to them, hey, I want to have an open communication with the community, let them know what I want to do, and they seem to be okay with it. So that was the first step I took.
That was the producer letter one.
僕がやっぱりそのウルティマオンライン以降ずっと MMO を遊んできてて。すごい残念だなと思って。
I remember the first three producer letter that he had on the forum is number one, introduce who he is. After that, apologize. After that, identifying and acknowledging the problem of the game. And then that, like I said, the fourth letter was the one that sold me when he talked about his vision of changing the game, the job system and the primer. That's what makes me. That's what made me get on board.
僕らは当時よくそのバグと戦ってるかオリジンと戦ってるかみたいな、それはそれでまた面白さもあったウルティマは。でもこれが時間が経てば新しいメモになればなるほどだんだんやっぱりこうお互いゲームを本当に大好きなのになんか本当敵みたいになっていくのがすごい嫌だったんですよ。でパッチ一つ取ってもうまくみんなに伝わってないし。だから僕が MMO を自分で作って運営していくんだったらせっかく同じゲームが大好きで盛り上がろうとしてるんだったら一緒に盛り上がっていきたいって思ってたのをついに自分が全権式の MMO ができたんでよしじゃあ俺が理想にしてた MMO をやるぞっていう感じでやってます。やっぱり友達でも家族でも何を考えてるかわからないってなったらすごい怖い恐怖だと思うのでお互い何を考えてるかができるだけわかるようにしたいっていうのがもう一個の理由です。
ごめんなさい。吉田さんの今のコメントを訳す前に念のため確認させていただきたいんですけれども、アルティマオンラインとオリジンというのは2つ別々のタイトルですか？
違います。ウルティマを作ってた会社がオリジンシステムズですね。
はい。
はい。
すみません。
はい。
知識不足でした。はい。Sorry, I was just double checking something. So of course, the first step was to apologize and to make sure we are
There's a part where Rich was
talking
saying that
to our,
she was flipping
our
pages because
players
she actually
about
wrote
what we
down
wanted to
everything.
rectify. And for example, I love Ultimate Online, and I love the game. I love them so much, and I'm sure the other players who played Ultima Online, really loved the game as well. And I'm sure Origin felt that they wanted to make their game better and they wanted to improve upon it. But for some reason, from how I perceived it, it was like developers versus consumers, and it didn't feel like we were collaborating. It felt like we were enemies almost. I mean, we both love the games. The consumers want to play a good game, the developers want to build a good game. But for some reason, it was either, we're fighting against bugs and issues, or we're fighting against Origin. And it was very sad. And once time
It's
has
just what it
elapsed, it
was
would
back
have
then, right?
more MMOs would have come out, and like it
Like
just felt such a shame that
it's a shame. Like Final Fantasy 11 could have been better than it is as well, But during that time, there wasn't such medium for us to communicate with the players, right? There wasn't official forums. There wasn't people knowing reporting bugs. Like, trust me, man. If we have like open communication today, like we had during Wings of the Goddess, let me tell you, man, Absolute Virtue wouldn't go 4 years undefeated. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
both parties really just have love for the game, but
Just
it
sad,
just
right?
felt
Back
like an
then,
opposing
the
position
developers also want
against
to do more,
each
right? But
other.
they can't,
And so whenever Origin
not on the
would
right
try
foot.
to let players know about a new patch that's being applied, it didn't get communicated properly. And so I felt that was such an unfortunate situation. So I was always thinking about, if I were ever to make my own MMO and to build a community, I would love for a better means of communication. And that chance came with the rebuild of Final Fantasy XIV. And so I had my chance to kind of build my ideal.
Yo, the mustache? Yo, that is so freaking... Okay. Yo, let's be honest. This interview is gonna blow up. This interview is gonna make so many people, including people who don't play Final Fantasy XIV. This is why you get Rich and Asmongold to the media tour. A lot of people, a lot of dumb idiots that think that, why is Xeno not there? Why is Rin not there? Can't believe someone who play your game less than a month. Can't believe somebody who is a WoW fan and only play your game on and off for 1 month, and then you invite these people. Oh, imagine being the content creator of this game for 9 years, and then you just disregard them and you give these people the media tour. Dude, this is the reason why you bring Rich and Asmongold, because this video right here, this interview right here, these questions that Asmongold and Rich ask is impact beyond Final Fantasy XIV. People who play it, people who don't play it, they're gonna look at this video, they're gonna play this game just because of this guy over here, just because of what he said.
Sort of
to these questions.
And so
this is a marketing interview.
I tried my best to convey.
This is how you become the Prime Minister of Japan.
What exactly I'm trying to do with the game, just so that the players understood and know the intentions behind it all.
Go ahead. Oh, was he done? Sorry, I wasn't.
すみません。大丈夫ですか?
Stop playing New World!
Yes, he was finished.
Okay. Yeah. You completely nailed it there about the developers and the players being against each other. That is exactly the way that I have felt with not just one game, but many games before. And I think that also the type of more honest and direct and personal communication between the developers and the players, and more so the shared.
Can you imagine what a WoW player would feel when they watch this interview? Can you imagine? Now, obviously, the WoW sims, the WoW denial players, the WoW players in Copium will look at this and say, fuck this guy. You are just getting, honey dicked by Yoshi-P. But if you actually really think about it, if you are a WoW player that is sitting on the fence and you see this, and then you start thinking,
love of the game between the developers and the players, and being able to even play with the players. I know that Yoshida has his own character, and he sometimes
Yo,
plays
Garo,
with
thanks for the host.
actual just random people in the community.
Yeah,
and
they're gonna be so
I think that's
they're gonna be so
beautiful. That's
jealous.
amazing. And
For me, right, I never thought I would say this. For me, right, now seeing how Rich and Asmongold feel about Square Enix Final Fantasy XIV and Yoshi-P, it kind of makes me feel like, yo, guys, we choose the right game. We choose the right game. This game might not be the... Okay, this game might not be the best MMO I ever played, but this game has got the best producer and director that I ever seen. That is developing, making the game. I think it's a big W for us. I think it's a big W for us.
that is just, I think, probably a big reason why the community at large is more positive too. And I think it is because of that more open line of communication with the developers.
本当におっしゃる通りだと思います。MMO に限らずですけれども、その開発対プレイヤーというその敵対関係というのは、本当にその一つの作品だけじゃないんですよね。そういった状況だなって感じた時があったので、本当にそのプレイヤーに向けて、その真摯に向き合って、ダイレクトに、そしてその個人的というか、そのパーソナルに情報を共有する。で、かつ、その、お互いにゲームが好きだという部分というのが非常に大事だと思います。プレイヤーと一緒に遊ぶという要素も非常に、素晴らしいと思っていて、結構吉田さんも、Yoshi-P散歩などで、プレイヤーと、アトランダムなプレイヤーと一緒に遊ぶなどしてこられたのは本当に美しいなって思って、おそらくそういうところが、コミュニティをポジティブで前向きな姿勢にさせてくれているのかなと思います。そのオープンなコミュニケーションが。
なんだろう。
Yo, thanks a lot, man.
やっぱりいろんな MMO でやっぱりフレンドから聞く言葉、まあ自分自身でも思ったことありますけど、開発こいつら自分が作ったゲーム遊んでんのかよみたいなやっぱ思っちゃうことがあるんですよ。でやっぱり僕らもあなたたちと同じように、まあ実際そうなので、僕だってアラガン・トムソン一生懸命集めて一生懸命レイドに通って練習して上手くなろうとしてる努力ってやってるんだから、見てもらった方がより安心できるし、もう本当にそれだけですよ。ただ僕は負けず嫌いなので、やっぱり黒魔同士メインにしてるなら世界一のやっぱ黒魔同士になりたいと思ってプレイはしてるので、まあだから一緒ですよ。楽しくゲームやってるっていう姿を、まあお互い見れた方がよりね楽しいし安心なのでね。
For sure, and I've heard my friends talk about this, and I feel it sometimes too. With some MMOs, they wonder, do these developers even play their own game?
Been enjoying the stream.
But with us, like a lot of the developers on Final Fantasy XIV are warriors of light ourselves. We go to the raids, we collect our elegant tomestones to exchange them for our
Yoshi-P is not a bad player, right? Although he does bullshit a little bit, I came up with my own rotation bullshit, right? He obviously have ACT installed on his home PC, obviously, right? That's why he's able to know whether he's a very good player, okay? He can play well, okay? And okay, although they are not as good as us, right? They're maybe as good or better than me, but they are not as good as like the top players, right? That's why players always able to find loopholes. Players always gonna find a cheesy strat, like Royal Pentacles, like Leaving Liquid recently, cheesing the Hand of Pain and killed it. And then obviously, some of the LB3 shenanigans that we do for healer tanks. Obviously, they don't expect that, right? But they still play their game, they still test their game. Whereas, as you can see from Asmongold face, that is clearly an indication of disappointment towards a specific company / game.
our weapons, and we are working hard. Like, we are players ourselves. And I think
Wow,
it's
look
just,
at this smug face. Look at this motherfucker smug face. This guy is like, yeah. Yes, Asmongold, that reaction. I know what company you are referring to. Yes.
best to show
Look at
that.
this.
Like,
Look at this
let the
smug
people
face.
know that, yeah, we love our game. And I myself am a very competitive person. So, and
I'm telling you, man, Yoshi-P is no dumb bunny. When Yoshi-P get these two guys on the show, Yoshi-P had a specific gender. He had a specific strategy. His strategy is use these two guys as his left and right hand, weaponize them. This interview is gonna fucking blow up. I guarantee you. I bet with you, this interview here, minimum 1 million views. Minimum. Okay, I'm gonna bet 50. I'm gonna bet 100 gifted sub here. This video right here, minimum 1 million views. Okay, minimum. This is how he weaponized them. This is how fucking good Yoshi-P is. This is how much of a master manipulator he is.
a black mage. And so I want to be the world's best black mage, you know? So, I mean, like, that's just it. I think it's just the shared love for the game and just playing together.
だから固定じゃなく、どんなプレイヤーのパーティーに急にランダムに飛び込んでも、俺はちゃんとどの場所でもどのタクティクスでもプレイできるぞっていうために、家に帰ったらずっと14やってたりするんで、いやもう僕は本当楽しいですよ、14の仕事は。もうなんかあんま仕事だと思ってないので。
That's like you like to hear, right? That's what you like to hear, right? Although this is a job for him, but because he really enjoys Final Fantasy XIV, he doesn't really treat it as a job. That's what you like to hear, right? I mean, that's. Oh shit! Please don't tell me my PC crashed again. That's what you.
So,
That's what you like to hear your developers say, right?
I don't play with just my static. I sometimes queue up for like a random group, and no matter what strategy they try to pull or no matter what position they do, I want to give it my best. And so I want to learn these strategies. I go home and continuously play Final Fantasy XIV. So it is a lot of fun being part of this team. You know, it's to the point where I don't really feel like it's work.
That's such a nice thing to hear. One of my questions is definitely what other games do you sometimes try to play to draw on inspiration? I remember watching some interviews way back at like different things like the No Pixel documentary and things like that, and hearing about some of the things that you got from Mr. Pandaria, for example. Are there any current games that you sometimes draw inspiration from?
ちなみにその他のゲームなども遊ばれますか？で、その遊んだ時にその影響を受けたりすることはあります
Did he
か？
just say no pixel? Wait, yeah. Did he just say no pixel?
過去のインタビュー、ノークリップのドキュメンタリーであったり、あと、ミスト・オブ・パンダリアの
Okay, she actually
影響を受けた
corrected
など
him.
のお話を伺っているので、どういったゲームに刺激を受けているのかなというのは気になりました。
いやもうなんか上げたらもうそれだけ多分一日中ライブストリーム一緒にできるぐらいなので、全部はちょっと難しいですけど。
Man, if I were to list each and every single one, I think I can do like a full-on live stream show, like an all-day show. Gosh.
僕にとってやっぱり大きいのはウルティマオンライン、ディアブロ、ワールド・オブ・ウォークラフト、エヴァークエスト、ダークエイジ・オブ・カメロット、この辺りは多分僕が技術者としても、ゲームデザイナーとしてもベースになってるものとしてはとてつもなく。
Those are classic games. Really, dope. A lot of people always say that WoW is the best MMO, to the point that some boomers even say WoW is the first MMO. You guys have no idea, man. These games that he released are the classics, man. Like, obviously, in that time, I mean, if it's today, obviously they won't be good. But during that time, revolutionary. Like, they were so fucking good. For me today, right, I still rank Dark Age of Camelot, at least from the experience that I have, all the way until its first expansion where they introduced Necromancer, I think, or something like that. I rate Dark Age of Camelot like a A+ MMO. The social aspect was awesome. The leveling was great. How you progress your character is awesome. The PvP is a three-way realm. It's probably, you know, I play World of Warcraft, I play Ion. all these PvP games that I play, right? I always tell like faction versus faction is never gonna be good enough. You know, Dark Age of Camelot having Migat, Hibernia, and Elblon, right? Like the triangle, it's so fucking good, man. It was crazy good. I haven't turned off my PC for like 2 weeks. I'm pretty sure it's running out of RAM, so I've been playing a lot
But
of
if I were to
Ion,
bring up
Diablo,
a few,
Final Fantasy
of course,
14,
Ultima
duo, triple
Online,
boxing for like the last 2
Diablo,
weeks, so
World
I'm
of
pretty sure my PC is
Warcraft,
running out of...
EverQuest, Dark
Okay, wait, let me... I'm pretty sure my PC is running out of RAM, so I need to restart my PC after this.
ベースになってるものとしてはとてつもなく大きいタイトルだと思います。
But if I were to bring up a few, of course, Ultima Online, Diablo, World of Warcraft, EverQuest, Dark
These
Age
are all
of
good games.
Camelot. So those are games that not only as like a game designer and an engineer, but yeah, those titles are very much an influence to me.
もちろんスタンダーローンのゲームだと、ファイナルファンタジーシリーズとドラゴンクエストはもうやっぱり日本の関係者としては絶対というか、まあ僕の世代はもう絶対なので、それはまあ当たり前で。
And then as for standalone titles, of course, the Final Fantasy series and the Dragon Quest series is just standard for any Japanese developer out there.
あとはそうですね、僕もともと結構 FPS もやるんですけど、Call of Duty Modern Warfare 1、2をやった時に、
You also play FPS?
ちょっと例えが適切かどうかわかんないけど、これはファイナルファンタジーだなと思ったんですよ。FPS なんですけど。
And then also, I love first-person shooters. So when I played Call of Duty Modern Warfare 1 and 2, and I know this might sound very inappropriate, but I thought to myself, wow, this reminds me of Final Fantasy.
なんかほんと少人数で世界を救うじゃないですか。リアリティがないですよ普通。でもめちゃくちゃ面白いんで、あれ結構衝撃だったんですよ。 FPS なんですけど。
And I know you
The
go into
social
there,
aspects, right?
you go
The
in as
social
a protagonist,
aspect
and you
was
have
so
this very
important.
small party who saves the world. Like, you know, it's such a it was such a shock. It's like, oh wow, that's just like Final Fantasy, although it's a first-person shooter.
で最近だとまあちょっと前ですけど PS4 のスパイダーマンが出た時にこれだけなんていうんですか、テクノロジーと遊び、それからキャラクターコントロールをなんだろう、ゲームってエンターテインメントで提供できるんだっていうのはすごい悔しかったし、すげえなと思ったので結構実は影響でかくて、でその後はゴースト・オブ・ツシマでちょっと悔しくなってるんで、ちょっといろいろ考えたり感じたりしてることはあったりしますね。はい。
And then some of the more recent games would be Spider-Man on PlayStation 4. That one made me feel so jealous and envious, and at the same time just left me in awe that they were able to bring together like the gameplay elements to the character controls, bringing together like video game and entertainment in a single package. So yeah, I was very jealous of that. And then Ghost of Tsushima made me feel very jealous as well, so that left me thinking a lot also.
まあなんでまあ話してたきりがないのでまあこれぐらいですけど、多分皆さんが思ってる以上にめちゃくちゃいろんなゲームちゃんとクリアまで全部。
Asmongold should ask him about Dark Souls. This is where Asmongold asks Dark Souls
a lot.
questions.
If I start listing them, I don't know where I'd stop. But I love games, so I play a lot of games and I do a lot of playthroughs as well.
I still remember the Asmongold Dark Souls clip. That he was so fucking mad, he rolled on the ground. Yo, does any one of you have the clip? Do you guys still have the clip?
I hate to be the bad guy, but we are.
The one that is like
a little bit over time. We could probably do something.
And he rolled on the ground bouncing.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Perfect.
Oh, you guys didn't see it, yo. Somebody link that.
Well,
Somebody
just
link that.
we're at the end. I do want to say one more time, thank you so much. If you gave us 8 hours, we'd probably ask for 9 because we're so excited to actually get to talk to everybody. And for like I've
so good. This interview is so fucking good. Is it this one? Yeah. he was so bad. I remember this one. He was so bad. Oh my god, that was so good. Holy shit.
Honestly, the past 3 months have been so incredible. And I think I can speak for both me and Asmon that we've had a truly incredible experience. So
Yeah, thanks a lot for giving us this opportunity. It's a privilege. We've really enjoyed playing the game so much. Originally, whenever I went into it, I didn't really know what to expect. And I think at this point, I've probably logged about 20 to 30% of the hours of all days up to the day that I started playing the game on the game. So I've played a lot. It's been extremely fun. I've loved it. So thank you so much for the opportunity, and thank you for making such a great game.
I think Asmon and I both, when we went into the game, we
Wow,
intended to beat
I never seen Asmongold so sincerely happy for something. Somebody should send this part to McConnell. Maybe McConnell will play the game. Don't play the game for the game. Don't play the game for his gameplay. Like, I get it, you know? I get all the things that you might resist or don't want. And like I said again, Final Fantasy XIV is not like a super awesome game, right? It's a good game, right? But play it for Yoshi. You know, play it for Yoshi-P, you know what I mean?
the hardest content possible. Like
And
that was what we
Walker,
both wanted to
give
do.
it 1 month.
And I'm pretty sure he
right?
spends about 14 hours of every day just in Gold Saucer. And I'm
Chocobo
just
racing.
he's just trying to make the best chocobo ever. And I'm just in
Asmongold is
my
trying so
FC
hard to get him to
estate
play.
just all day long stalling.
そうです。まあ、終わりのコメントになってきましたので、こちらからぜひ感謝の言葉をお伝えさせてください。おそらく8時間のインタビューをやろうって言った話であったら、こちらとしてはもう9時間も話したいというぐらい、吉田さん方とお話できる機会を本当に楽しみにしていました。ゲームをプレイしてまだ3ヶ月なんですけれども、本当に素晴らしい体験をさせていただいて、素晴らしい経験になっています。で、アズモンさんの方も、本当に今日はありがとうございました。ゲームを遊ぶことができて本当に光栄に思っていますし、ゲームを始めた当初は本当に何が出てくるのか全然わからない状態で入ったものなんですけれども、
I actually think she's better than Koji now.
もう本当にハマって。
But Koji obviously is more natural because Koji is like Western himself, right? But for her as a Japanese, I don't recall the last time I seen a Japanese speak so perfect English.
ゲームを始めた段階からもう全て遊んでいるゲームのうちのもう2割3割をもう占めてるんじゃないかというぐらい遊び込んでいますので、本当に大好きなゲームとなりました。で、もともとリッチさん、アズモンさんが14を始めたきっかけは、ゲームの中で一番難しいコンテンツをクリアしようぜっていう意気込みで入ったつもりだったんですけれども、アズモンのやつ、14時間は優にゴールド操作でずっと過ごしてるよねっていう話をしつつ、リッチさんはFC ハウスの中でもうだらだらまったりしてるだけになっているので。
いやいや、でもやっぱり MMO って僕はこれも僕のちょっと
Oh, is she? I mean, that explains why her English is so good then.
MMO って遊び方自由であるべき。まあそもそもゲームは全部そうあるべきだと思ってます。
Yeah, I would like to share some comments on my end as well. So first, MMO, and I think this applies to any game in general, but I feel that video games should allow for the player to be free in what they do.
でやっぱりゲームに疲れることもある。プレイするのに疲れることもある。リフレッシュしたいこともある。
This is like some rallying speech to run for presidency, you know? I feel like the land should be free!
今は二人ともワウを
No more savages! No more savages! No more slaves! No more slaves!
お互いのいいところっていうのがまた見えてくると思うので、やっぱりいろんなゲームの配信をみんな多分楽しみにしてる。それは2人だけじゃなくて、なのであんまり責任感でゲームをプレイしないでほしいなっていうのはすごいどのストリーマーの人にも感じることなので、ぜひ楽しんでプレイをしてもらえると見てる僕たちもみんな楽しいと思うので、ぜひそれは忘れないでいてほしいです。僕が言うことじゃないのかもしれないけど、はい、ぜひこれからも楽しんでもらえると嬉しいです。
And so with that freedom, some people might get tired of playing the same game constantly, or like just gameplay gets to be a little tiring. Some people might want a refresh. And I feel that players don't need to be tied down to one single game. For
That's also talking to WoW players.
all intensive purposes, if um you guys were like taking time off from World of Warcraft just to play 14, I don't know. I feel
Oh, he's going in already. Yoshi-P has no reservation already. He's going in already. He has earned their trust. He has got them in his grasp already, in his fingertips already. This is where Yoshi-P bring out the big guns. This is where this is in JCS. This is the confrontation part, the good cop, bad cop, portion. The nice guy, the investigator using the know why and how strategy, and then the investigator going for trying to be on the victim side, yet at the same time trying to get information. It's over already. This is the part where he's going for the direct confrontation.
feel like it's players who kind of latch onto one single game and just become too tied up with a single game is nonsense. It feels
There we go. That's the direct confrontation right there.
very unnatural. So if people want to play 14 and go to WoW and then go back and forth, I think that's perfectly fine. And you might
Of course, he thinks perfectly fine, right? As a businessman, I mean, Yoshi-P is not gonna come out and say, "Yo, you guys better just why don't you guys just stop playing WoW and come and play Final Fantasy 14?" You know what, guys? You know, if you guys want to come and play 14 and play WoW, honestly, it's fine. He's trying to fish so hard, but not trying to show that he really wants that fish. Yeah, if I can get it, that's great. I don't really need it. Yeah, if I get this, oh, I got this fish. This is just another big fish. You know what? Even if it's smaller, it's fine.
see the positive elements of both titles by being able to get that different perspective. And I would love for people to streamers out there also to not be so like tied up or like feel a sense of heavy responsibility.
This is the part where when I heard him say it in JP, I was a little bit like, oh boy. I kind of feel like, maybe, like the way he put it, right? He's indirectly kind of, I'm not trying to say it is, kind of indirectly saying that, yo, if you motherfuckers are so sick of this fucking game, go play something else. Stop playing Final Fantasy 14 and fucking complain. You know what I mean? Like, I felt it. I felt that is the hidden message he's sending out to some of us. That I felt it. When he's speaking in Japanese earlier, I felt it. I'm like,
responsibility or like an obligation to stick with a single game just because that's what they have sort of concentrated on in the past. I would love for people to explore various games out there. There are many options out there. So I hope we're not placing any sort of like obligation on you guys either. Like we would love for you guys to just continue to enjoy the game, and we never want for it to be any sort of burden on you guys. I think that will also allow for the audience to see you guys like genuinely enjoying what you do, and that will allow for us to enjoy watching you guys, having fun. So I feel
this
I want to encourage you, like, you
this
guys
video
do
is
a
gonna
great
go
job in
viral.
what you do, and please don't
100%.
forget that to enjoy yourselves too. I
This
don't know.
video
I
is
might,
this
I might
video
be
is
stepping
gonna
out of
blow
bounds
up.
by saying this, but
This video
I
is gonna
wish
blow up
that
not
you
just
continue
as
to
in Asmongold
enjoy
community and not just
playing
in
your
Final Fantasy
games.
14 community. This video is going to the WoW community.
I've enjoyed the story so
I
much.
guarantee you,
that
within one
sometimes
day,
after
this
stream,
video
I
will be
go
on
back
Blizzard's forum.
and I use the feature where you can replay the story missions. So like I've enjoyed the MSQ. I have not binged a story as much as like the last time I binged a story this much was like when I watched One Piece for the first time. Like that is how much I love this story. So I am enjoying myself so much, and I can't thank you guys enough.
It's been nothing. It's been everything except a burden. It's been very fun, and I've loved being able to have that ease of access of just being able to play the game without feeling like I'm compelled to, or without some sort of retention mechanic.
That's the message Asmongold has been sending out the last 2 months, right? You know, he feel that WoW players shouldn't be too attached. Like it's not just, you know, it doesn't need to take like the game becoming bad and or a company and its employees doing dumb shit to make players start to look into other options, right? Like modern games, even retail WoW these days, seriously, you look at the system, you look at the time gate that they put in, you know, it's okay to play something else, right? But then WoW players are just more alts. Make another alt. Make more alts, make another alt. But I mean, obviously, because of like it's hard to break down a cow, right? It's hard to break down like an internet religion, right? Like Warcraft cultists, right? So hard to break it, right? So if this is what it takes to break it for people to try other things. I mean it's not just Final Fantasy 14 that benefits from it. Trust me, New World also benefits from it. Right? New World is now another option for WoW players to play something else, to make them realize that I don't really have to play WoW. You know, I mean, I can still play WoW and play New World. Instead of capping 4, 5, 6 characters, all the specs, get all the beasts, I just need one and then just raid on that one toon and then go play another game. And then that other game eventually will, you know, they will eventually like venture into Final Fantasy 14, right?
Keeping me engaged.
Same,
and,
it's the same. It's the same for
that.
Final Fantasy 14
It's
players.
been
You know, it's the same
enjoyable
for Final
to just be
Fantasy
able to
14
play it at
players.
my own pace and really enjoy.
We can still go and play other
appreciate
games.
the story as well as just the gameplay and the content and the raids and everything.
いや、ありがとうございます。
Thank you.
遅い時間までまた機会があったらぜひ次はねコロナが落ち着いて直接フェイス2フェイスでお酒でも飲みながらね話せるとまた楽しいと思うので次の機会も楽しみにしてます。
Definitely looking forward to any future opportunities we may have to speak with each other, hopefully in
Wow, Yoshi-P actually say this specifically to them.
person.
That's really
I'm
nice.
so done with this pandemic. I would love to just go out for drinks and just talk shop some more with you guys in the near future. Thank you again for your time.
I'm telling you, Yoshi-P knows what he is talking about. Yoshi-P knows, yeah, because he knows what he's doing. He know what he's doing. This guy know what he's doing.
Would love
This guy
that. Thank
is-
you
this
again.
guy is
absolutely love
5
that. Thank
hit.
you so much.
Yeah, he
See you
got
next
them
time.
good. Keeps your enemy close. Keep your friends close, but keep your enemies closer, and then you tell which is which. That's a strat. Yeah, right there. Oh boy, this video is gonna be good. Okay, I'm done. Holy fuck, man. Ooh, I still need to work out. I still need to play Ion. Yo, thanks so much for watching today, man. Yo, thanks for linking that video. And it was quite fortunate and lucky that the highlight went to YouTube. That was perfect timing, actually. If I would have watched the Rich react to his own interview, I'm gonna be sitting here for another 4 hours. So luckily this highlight came out. Asmongold OS dude. Even as a Final Fantasy 14 streamer, right? Even as a Final Fantasy 14 small streamer, let me tell you, man. The fact that he came in and reached these 2 months definitely brought a shit ton of attention to the game. 100%. A lot of people think that it's not. It is. Fucking crazy. Rich is watching. Oh, for sure, right? This is such a good interview. This type of interview has never happened in the last 9 years. In terms of media interview, and in terms of like media tour people that they invite and interview. Like usually they get interviewed by like Dengeki, Famitsu, you know, gaming sites, reviewers and stuff, right? They don't really get interviewed by like some hardcore players, long-term players themselves from another community. Not mention direct biggest competitor. You know what I mean? This is the first time they actually get two two of the biggest, if not most famous people of the other community coming to try your game and then get to talk to them face to face, one to one, you know? This is like and then the question that they're asking is not so Final Fantasy, not so Endwalker related, but more like, why is this MMO made this way? You know, how come you are gaining slowly but surely gaining all this traction from from around the world and MMORPG players from other games, right? Like this type of interview is more than just about Endwalker. It's more, you know, if you just ask about Endwalker, if you just talk about the expansion, it's just short term, right? It's just about what happened next month, right? Whereas interview like this is almost like a documentary. This type of thing is gonna be there for people to go back and watch it,